So Wanyama, welcome on the space and kindly confirm to me that you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So I think we'll begin the conversation in a few minutes, probably at 8:06 or 8:08. Tukienda sana itakuwa 8:10 because we want at least tukifika kama 50 hivi then the quorum itakuwa ishafika. We can start the conversation. So keep sharing, keep repeating the space, and ask other guys to join. Yeah. Wanyama, I think tunaweza anza, sio?
I agree. So that we'll be able to manage time as well.
Okay, fine. So I think we'll begin by, I think you can give us the report on hiyo mambo yenye kina Mkenya Kasmel and anaitwa nani and Shakira were following up today. I'm sure sijui kama umekuwa in contact. Have you talked?
Not in entirety, but so we had spoken earlier, and people had mentioned that I'm just giving a snippet before Kenya and Shakira come to clarify on all the other things that happened today. So we decided not to be only digital activists. We decided to take it to the ground as well, and to keep watchers on the items that happen in the country, because tutaongea online, we know the rot that is happening, but what do we do? So Shakira Wafula, Mkenya and Kasmuel did a petition to the IEBC, and if you've been attending Sauti ya Mwananchi spaces, you'll know that they came and explained what the petition is in one of the spaces. This is a recorded version. I think we'll have to find a way of putting all these spaces, the recorded spaces, in a continuum format. So what happened is they took the petition to Parliament, but we quickly realized that we need to arrest the process as quickly as possible. So the place that we often miss is, how do the names get to Parliament?
Good afternoon and welcome to the Senate live proceedings. This being a sitting of the Senate on the afternoon of 20th, the year being 2024 of the month of August. This is a special sitting of senators in plenary to hear and determine the motion on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawera Mwangaza, the governor for Meru County. This is technically the last session of these hearings, as these hearings commenced on Monday at 9 a.m. at the Senate. This being the second and the final day, the hearing and determination process in regards to whether the impeachment grounds hold any water began at the Senate at around 11 a.m. this morning, and like it happened last night or last evening, where the proceedings proceeded up to midnight, we, so to speak, expect an extension of these allocated time. But according to the program, is that the Senate has lined up this process and determination to go up to 5:30 p.m. But that notwithstanding, we've been having lead councils requesting for some more time. And just like it happened yesterday, today will not be an exception, but we'll be waiting to see how that unfolds. But this being the last part of the hearing and determination, already 2 hours are already underway for the Defense Counsel to prosecute their matter in defense of Governor Kawera Mwangaza. They have about 2 hours remaining. The Speaker in the morning allocated them 4 hours, just like the prosecution team that was allocated 4 hours yesterday. When the House resumes after lunch, any moment from now, we will be having question as well as requests for clarification by senators after the defense team is done with submission of its defense. Remember, up to this particular moment, the team led by lawyer Elias Mutuma and as well as other 5 lawyers who are defending the Meru Governor Kawera Mwangaza have already brought 2 witnesses before the Senate. We'll be seeing whether more witnesses will be called to the stage that has been set for this particular process. After that, we'll be having the closing statements by the County Assembly, which has been allocated 60 minutes, basically an hour. This is usually the norm, that the County Assembly, who are for the impeachment and want the Senate to uphold the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawera Mwangaza, will be given an hour by the Speaker to prosecute their matter with finality and convince senators why they should uphold the impeachment of Kawera Mwangaza. And the defense will equally have its fair share of the equal time, that is 1 hour again, to convince the House why the House ought to throw out the charges leveled against Governor Mwangaza. Thereafter, the House will be taking a vote, which will be done by delegation to either uphold the impeachment or to throw the charges out altogether. Our dear viewers, the Speaker and his procession is already into the chamber this afternoon. Allow me to hand you over for this live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing and good afternoon.
Nasikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uadilifu ili kustawisha amani ufanisi na heri nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao zinastahili mikononi mwetu.
The quorum bell is yet again on ring mode at the Senate as the Speaker, upon the commencement of business this afternoon, has directed the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes, and this being a lunch hour session where the House is commencing at 2 p.m., contrary to the norm, where the House usually commences business at 2:30. A 10 minutes leeway has been allocated to senators this afternoon to make their way into the chamber this afternoon. Before I handed you over for the live broadcast, I was just mentioning that the Defense Counsel for Governor Mwangaza has already brought forward 2 witnesses, and for the remainder of their time, which is about 2 hours and 40 minutes, we'll be waiting to see whether more witnesses will be brought forward before the Senate this afternoon. But in a nutshell, is that Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has refuted all the charges against her by the Meru County Assembly, the charges being 3 mainly, and we will be awaiting to see whether these allegations will be substantiated. The senators will be voting on each of the charge by the end of this day, where they will be voting whether the charges on gross misconduct, the charge on abuse of office, and the other charge on gross violation of the Constitution and other laws of the land have been violated, have been substantiated, taking a vote on each and every charge. And our dear viewers, remember that according to the Constitution, on the grounds for the removal by impeachment of a governor or a state officer, in this case, the Constitution requires that in the event either of the 3 grounds that MCAs have brought before the Senate this afternoon or during this 3rd impeachment by the Meru MCAs,
Kenya and Kasmuel did a petition to the IEBC. And if you've been attending Sauti ya Mwananchi spaces, you'll know that they came and explained what the petition is in one of the spaces. There's a recorded version. I think we'll have to find a way of putting all these spaces, the recorded spaces, in a continuum format. So what happened is they took the petition to Parliament, but we quickly realized that we need to arrest the process as quickly as possible. So the place that we often miss is how do the names get to Parliament? And we tracked the process and we found out there are entities that are supposed to propose those names to the president. Those are religious organizations and civil organizations, Parliamentary Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission, and the Law Society of Kenya. So they have been visiting every entity, and they started with the religious organizations. And today they visited the National Islamic something. I can't remember the full part. That was an initiative brought to us by Farah. I hope Farah will be joining this space as well. When he joins, I would want him to explain more. Those petitions, I mean, they submitted the petition to the commission, Islamic Commission, National Islamic Commission, to say that there needs to be a youth representation in the IEBC commissioners. So yes, that petition was taken to them, but it's for the purposes of us being in control of the process. Hakuna haja ya kulia after the names have already been brought or taken to Parliament. Tunasema tutaki ya watu. Let us be active youth and let us be put in the process on the ground. So yes, that is one win from the Sauti ya Mwananchi as people try to also engage physically on the ground, because tulisema as digital workers can also create a community where huko kwa ground pia information is going through. But we hope Mkenya and Shakira will join us, even if it's not today, probably tomorrow in the morning. For anyone joining us right now, my name is Wanyama Wafula. I'm co-hosting KOT Sonko Space right now. In the evening, we do co-host a daily space. I do the morning show from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day in the morning, Monday to Friday. And KOT assists to co-host. In the evening, we are here daily on KOT Space, that's Sonko _254, where we co-host Sauti ya Mwananchi as well. So, we have also other co-hosts because ikazi ya spaces si rahisi. We prepare, we bring you, we moderate the conversation, etc. Esco Wino is one of the co-hosts. Bada ako na mashughuli kadhaa hapa na kule, but he'll be joining us. Ayo the 6th as well, and our lovely lady, that is Rabia Hawa, as well joins us all the way from Mombasa. We put up a challenge today so that ladies should join us. We need to get as many ladies as well to volunteer for this thing. If you're a lady and you feel like you can moderate conversations, bring content, push on civic education, then this is a chance to also DM us. We are very logical people. We do not engage in mkatiano. We respect professionalism because the country is bigger than all of us. And we have to put it first. So keep joining the conversation. The topic today is civic education mashinani. We discussed last week that we'll have a day every week where we speak about how are you engaging in civic education on the ground. Badala ya kusema tu online, lament. Sauti ya Mwananchi is also about what is your proposed solution? What have you done on your part? And it doesn't have to be very complicated. It can be also something about as simple as what Marvin said today in the morning. If you met a parent, have you spoken to them about the university funding model, the new university funding model? Have you? If you go to the farmers, ukikutana na mkulima wherever you are, have you spoken to them about the Mang Bill and all the agricultural acts that are coming into play? Have you spoken about the Land Lease Act, etc., etc.? So do it as simply as possible. In churches, have you spoken about why people are mad about the churches? Give it as feedback to the preachers, not as a contest. And also we advise that as you go on the ground, it's not a competition. It's not war against the politician, because you will easily be taken as an enemy. Because as you go there, preach the gospel of the Constitution. That is the Bible that we stand upon. Because if we don't stand on the Constitution, we will do what? We have no right to ask for better from the politician. On Sauti ya Mwananchi, we accept also all your opinion. Come one, come all, but we assure you, we will ask you the right questions as well. And to believe in censorship, but pia usitubebe stories za jaba, nani kikuja, ongea kitu ina make sense as well. So, come to the speaker panel, irrespective of your number of your followers, 1 follower, 10 followers, etc., etc. Come to the speaker panel, give out what your opinion is, what you've done, how, when, where, what are you saying on the ground. Kwa ground ndio mchezo iko. We say Kenya is very literate, but there's a huge number of people who are politically illiterate. So, tafadhalini, take the gospel to the ground. Now, anyone who's taking any gospel to the ground celebrates them. Usijali is about, sijui huyu ni nani, hiyo ni propaganda. Na man, wanasemanga hii first throw stones. Tulisema hiyo maneno ya kusema Morara ni credit fraudster nini. Tuko na wengi hapo kwa government. Hawajai tuambia vile tumeibiwa. And speaking of which, if you guys allow, from tomorrow, I'll be highlighting all the rot on my timeline about the different problems the Auditor General highlighted with the different ministries that we have. Ni kazi ngumu, but sasa itafanya aje? Itabidi tuanze ministry by ministry. Tunasema Auditor General alisema mlipoteza pesa kiasi fulani na fulani na fulani. So that I don't take enough of your time, and also so that we don't stick to the spaces for very long, because we take notes as well as your host and co-hosts. If you follow the timeline, you'll see we always highlight on what was the message in the space and what can be implemented. If we see also kuna watu wenye wanakuja na una repeat the same message, we'll ask you, ulienda ukafanya nini on the message that you preach. Not because we hate you, but because we are asking, jamaneni, when will we effect the change? And the change is in whatever you can do best. We also have other tools that we try to speak to the silent majority. Today in the morning, we formed the Sauti ya Mwananchi Telegram channel. If you don't have the link, please inbox me, DM me. We also formed the Kenya County News WhatsApp channel. The reason why we are using the WhatsApp channel instead of a group is the WhatsApp channel does not care what your private details are. We can't see your numbers, and so wale watu wa roho chafu ambao wanataka kuharass individuals cannot see it. The WhatsApp channel does not allow commenting, but it allows reactions. So we'll be posting you there the unfiltered and biased news there as well. On the Telegram channel, you can be able to comment on every item. You can give suggestions. You can give whatever you need, because that is where the movement is being created. On Telegram, Sauti ya Mwananchi. Because on Spaces, it is very layered. On Twitter as well, the algorithm is very layered. But on Telegram, you'll be able to comment, and the admins can also follow. Do not worry, I'm not the only admin there. We have many volunteers, and if you can volunteer on something, please do. For translators, volunteer to Kenya Daima to translate to the different languages as well. Keoti, I think I've done a good job to introduce. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Wanyama, for introducing. And of course, I wanted to share with you guys the progress of Sauti ya Mwananchi, because we started this space last week. I think it was on Monday, and we've done several spaces under several different topics. A day before yesterday, I did the new university funding model. Well, you know, mute your mic, boss. So I did the new university funding model. We had several speakers here, and we discussed the way forward on how we are going to tackle the issue, because we find that most of the university students who are joining from September, they aren't even aware that they need to pay. Just a minute. Whenever just continue, then let me stop the mic.
Okay, Marvin will be back on that. I want to keep it rolling, by the way. Let's just speak about the civic education. And by the way, thanks to everyone who keeps retweeting the spaces. Niliwaambia, by the way, mtaacha hizo jokes. Mna intended in numbers na ham retweet the spaces. Be active, people. And the reason we tell you that is we want as many people to listen in so that we do not repeat the topics, not because we want to create a gain train. So retweet the space. The way you retweet the space is go to your bottom right on the message icon, click on it and click the upside down arrow and follow the prompts. Keep it rolling. Naona hapo ni 9 reports, but you can do better. If you can't pick the mic, now ukipatiwa mic, ongea sense, na ongea with the strength that you need and you have. In the sauti ya mwananchi, your minutes will be protected as well. If a moderator tells you to wind up, please do wind up. Sally was amongst the first ones here. So Sally, how are you this evening?
I'm very well. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Niko salama sana.
Karibu to the space. You can continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I didn't know the work that was being done by Casmuel and the guys who are going around trying to get IEBC commissioners. And I feel like there's quite a bit of misinformation up at Twitter. People saying that they're sellouts. So it would be nice for people with big accounts to just explain the importance of having commissioners, IEBC commissioners picked by the youth, because as it is right now, I think the church, KK government, ODM, and a few other organizations have commissioners. And if we, of course, we continue like that, hakuna kitu tunafanya, you know? We won't have a say in the elections. So anyone who can explain it, anyone who has a big following or can do a video about it, that would really be helpful. Because I'm beginning to see that there isn't much understanding, even with good intentioned people who just think that we are still at the stage of no talking to politicians, no deals. And we're not making deals, but I feel like it's important to do the IEBC commissioners thing. So, I mean, let's, as much as we can, let us just respond to people, get videos of people who are explaining, be ourselves the explainers of what we're doing. Because sometimes I feel like when we don't explain civic education, yes, to the mashinani and to the mwananchi, but also to the big voices of Twitter and social media, so that there can be a big understanding. There can be a better understanding. So the other thing I wanted to speak about is the civic education that's already happening right now by politicians that is not in the radar of anybody, right? So women reps have been doing county to county rallies where they move together like women reps, because I really believe women reps don't have a particular role that they play on the daily, right? So you can have them go constituency to constituency to constituency. They have this project called Inua Mama, which is directly being funded by the executive, Ruto to be specific, that's going around giving women money. I think I have some videos on my timeline about it. I think 2 videos, because I came across it today and I just went into a deep dive into what's happening, that wanapewa mama pesa, just telling them, please vote for Ruto in 2027. I mean, a big movement that has not caught, at least to my knowledge, has not caught any social media attention, any media attention, anything. But wanaenda wanapatia watu wa chama pesa, wanawape tanks, with the which is bribing really, with the express is it an express promise that they will vote for Ruto in 2027. So, I mean, I'm a believer that I'm one of those people who really believes that social media is playing a really big role. And so if we continue to push our videos and to do them and share them, and, you know, when I go to Shags, I get shocked at how many people actually know exactly what someone like Morara is doing and what is being talked about. So I think the benefit of, first of all, understanding that what we're doing is really having impact, and creating videos and sharing them in your WhatsApp groups and with your family groups, and that already has a very big impact. But then to not also underestimate that Ruto alali man, you know, and he has the stolen money on his side to give people money to have campaigns that will not be on our radars. I think the initiative is called Inua Mama. You can just go on YouTube and check it out. Or as I've said, I've tweeted a few videos of exactly how these women are just going campaigning. Man, it's just so shocking. So as we're here trying to still organize, they have mechanisms already, like they know who to call on. Wanajua nani watapigia waambie go round, like pigia women reps, for example, who have nothing else they're doing, kuambia go round doing women meetings is quite impactful. So I think tuendelee tu, tusiogope kutuma videos. I think social media has a big impact because it seeps down to everybody. Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to say about today for now.
Okay, well put. By the way, government iko na monopoly at the moment of doing civic education at the taxpayers' expense. Ndio maana saizi ukianza kupiga rallies kama Ruto, you'll see what the police are going to do to you as well. CFA, Nora, how are you? And we put in the next speakers. Let us also grow those two tools that I've mentioned, the WhatsApp channel and the Telegram channel, because weka wale watu wenye from wherever your village is, weka hao watu into it. It shares both news and accountability issues. So please put in all the people that you know from Mashinani, from where. Let's just grow the numbers until we get to that point where we say, now the message is home. Because tupende tusipende, WhatsApp has bigger numbers ya watu wa Mashinani than Twitter. Because they huwa wanakesha kule. So please grow the numbers there. I don't think CFA Nora is hearing me.
Hi, Wanyama. I can hear you actually, but can someone else go and then I come back kindly?
Okay, Kenyans.
Niaje wase, huku mko poa leo, keote mko fiti. It's another day, it's another fight, it's another start. So, tunapenda big up hapa, ni nani ametujoin? Sijui kama ameenda ama ako hapa bado. Otero. So jamaa wali, like sijui what's going on, because if we deal with this politician, hawata tugeuka, because always niambia ati utaenda ati you are going to sign some deals ati for no money. Haiwezi kuwa ati ni for free. How I say. So like on a ground level, like venye Mkenya daima alikuwa anasema in our mother tongue languages, at least for them to understand what we are saying. We are telling them. Say Ruto akona strategy like alali umse everything and I think where how vijana. So the rescue ilikuwa baba, but the next itakuwa nani? Nana tam rescue like in season 2. So saya na kwa kujishikilia, he got just one bullet. Na sisi we just got that one bullet. Tusikuwa na rush. Niliona mzee huko akiweka staff fulani hapa ati tusijua na wana host. Ilikuwa nini, kuna kitu wana host sijui ni I don't know. Because sijui na kila nani. then we go pay 500 people. Bro, kuna wase wako Islando maana hata hiyo 500 shillings hata hana. Kwani hiyo si hayuko under hii revolution yetu. Like vitu zingine tunafanya, we should reconsider everyone. Kila mtu akuwe inclusive. See, we just pop up and huyu anasema hivi. I think KOT umeona tumekuwa sisi hatujakuwa wavering. They wavered umeona wameanza kujirudisha tu wenyewe. Sisi tuli stick with the truth and we are here for the truth. So we are here for the truth na kama season 2 is loading, so it's quite ni tena tunaanza we wait for 2027. Believe me, what a compromise IEBC and the same people will be there, the same nigga will be there. So tusingoja ati 2027, hiyo ni story ya jaba. Na mimi nawaambia if it's not now it will never be. Kwani akisikia baba ameishi kugoma akisema ameishi kugoma, wengine wameishi kugoma, they came and go, they do nothing. So kama sisi sasa ni lini unatuambia 2027, nini ita prevent msena akona everything he needs, akona everything, every power, nini ita prevent ku compromise IEBC? Hata tuseme Kasamuel aende kwa hiyo IEBC ajoin akue ama nini chair anaitwa aje among the committee, bro anaweza nunuliwa. How should we trust these people? Si hatufai kukua ati we are waiting for sijui it's strategic where we plan for the second season and this guy gets out. That's all we can do. Hiyo ndio the only hope tuko nayo, cause kama ni mashamba mnaona ishungwa sasa ameintroduce bill gani, I mean like zinapitishwa tu back door the same thing. So na sasa wame to compromise the government iko inclusive wasiwa the Luo people, the other people like Mombasa. Uliona the other time tulikuwa
ulisema history ya highlighting tribes bana, we can do better. ODM is not a tribal thing. I want you to withdraw that.
I know that, but according to political strategy, that's what they are using. Unaona, we cannot avoid, like tunaweza avoid on a nini tribal way, but hatuwezi avoid like regional. It was power, ilikuwa power yetu bado, unaniget? So we like hata wakijaribu nini, this are a baby mwenye lazima tu azaliwe hata wafanye nini. So big up to
Wanyama, the current speaker bado anaongea ama?
I think Kenyans may lose internet. Can you hear me?
Okay. So Wanyama, let me just take it for the next 1 hour, then I'll welcome you back.
Let's do.
So Sally, I can see your hand is up, though you had spoken.
Just to add something.
Okay.
I mean, just to add something. Now, Greener, the speaker who's been there, who's saying that we need to focus on doing what? On making sure that we don't need to get to 2027. But I also feel like it's good to do both. You know, we are many, tuko wengi. Tunaweza fanya to prepare for 2027 in case tufike, na pia tufanye sahi ya season 2. Because just having one strategy for itoke na iishe na what if tufike 2027 and we have no plan? You know? So I really agree with the people who akina Kasmel wenye wanaenda ku lobby tukwe na commissioners, but pia na agree na Kenya amesema that we also need to focus on now, but I really believe we can do both. Like we can walk and chew gum at the same time. You know, we don't have to have one strategy that iko hivyo. Tunaweza kuwa tunafanya vitu kadhaa at the same time. Tunafanya civic education, try to get referendum, everything. We do everything possible to get to our goal.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sally. I agree with you. Of course, we cannot just have a single plan. Of course, we can have multiple plans. Plan A is we do the second wave, of the street. Then plan B, now we do things venye tulikuwa tunazifanya venye kina Kasmuel wanafanya. Of course, Kasmuel, Kenya Daima na nani na anaitwa nani? Na Shakira may inform they had a meeting because walikuwa wamepeleka hiyo petition in the parliament, ya reconstitution of IEBC na pia kukuwe na inclusion of the youth in that commission. Of course they were lobbying for 3 positions. Enye mbili ni the youth wenye ni different gender, a male and a female, and then the third one for a youth who represents the people with disability. And of course Shakira ameniambia after they met Millie Odhiambo amewa promise to push up your petition kukuwe na hearing in the parliament. And of course ameniambia so saizi there is a letter they need to draft, of which they need to deliver it to the parliament and also to share with the media. So probably wangekuwa hapa wangetuelezea exactly what they are doing. Then apart from that, we have people who are on the ground wenye wanafanya civic education. Just as we said in the morning, ukifika mahali kama kuna watu 3, 2, 4, talk to them, but ensure you are talking to them the issues that affect them directly. Even though tulikuwa tunasema there is a team yenye we are planning. We have people who will travel all along from Nairobi to Mombasa through the SGR. The SGR has 11 coaches, and through that SGR, at least in each coach, we need to have at least 3 people who will now be delivering the civic education to the travelers. They go to Mombasa. Tunaenda hapo Mombasa. Personally, nisema nikishafika huko, I'll go to bunge la mwananchi yenye kwa Mombasa. I know exactly where the place is. Talk to them, then we plan the next day. We also come back to Nairobi with a different SGR. Of course, the passengers watakuwa washa change. So that single trip, of course, we are reaching out to over 3,000 people because SGR inabeba 1,500, and so kila mtu inafaa take up kitu unaweza fanya. Me personally, I can host spaces and I can also speak fluently and of course without fear kwa watu hapo mbele. So mali unaona unaweza changia on civic education, come on board, and that's exactly what we are doing. And so wacha nipatie George Gatonye the mic. Jana nilikupatia mic but we were unable to hear you. So George Gatonye, kindly 3 minutes ama the time will take bora isipite 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Mnanisikia? Am I audible?
Yes, nakusikia.
Actually hata niko nje place kunanyesha, but lazima niongee my point. Nakumbuka jana yenyewe ulinipea mic and nilikuwa nimedoze. But anyway, thank you for this opportunity. Now, first of all, before I go to any other business or issue, nataka kuongelea kuhusu like there's this poster yenye wase wa UDA wametoa yenye Ruto wanasema ati complete the Kenol Sagana Road. First of all, I come from a place called Narumoro. So if you go to Narumoro, it's just before Nanyuki. So you'll have to pass through the road. And it's not called Kenol Sagana, it's called Kenol Marwa. And this road was initiated by Uhuru Kenyatta in 2019. And he was so steadfast in making sure that before he leaves office, he road is completed. But you know what happened? Now, Regijia kaingia into office. And then the road passes through Karatina. So it's like Karatina and then Marwa. So now, Regiji had a dispute. Hii barabara sinapitia Karatina. Karatina encroach land ya Kenha. It encroach kabisa. So do you remember the case of Lodiani, where people lost their lives because they were selling by the roadside? It's the same scenario, but this time it's buildings. So what happened? Regijia kaulizwa, cheki, we have 2 options. Contractor na walimuuliza hivi. It was Chinese contractors. You have 2 options. It's either tuondoe hizi buildings now encroach ama we build a flyover. So you see that now was like it was like a dilemma. So Rigiji opt kujiondoa kwa hiyo situation. So this single scenario made this road stall. Imestall kabisa. And mind you, Ruto amesema ameitaja Kenol Sagana. So from Kenol Sagana, it's it's not even like yet completed. It's not completed like 100%, but ameamua kuiname hivyo because anajua the dispute that is there before you reach Karatina. Ukifika Karatina and after Karatina, hii barabara hakuna kitu ina happen. Contractors walichoka tu, wakaenda, waliona hii ni upuuzi. Haya, but anyway, I also wanted to talk about another thing. I've been seeing people like they are holding the government accountable, which is really, really, really nice. But there's this thing ya kuchangiwa. I'm not like so comfortable with that. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'm not so.
I think tumekupoteza kiasi. Can you try and fix your mic?
Hello?
Wanyama. Yeah, tunakusikia.
Hello? Hello?
Mtujasi, please finish. Your mic is having a problem. Or I think it's internet.
Oh, my mic is having a maybe it's my network. I hope you're listening. I hope I'm like you're hearing me.
Yeah, now I can.
Oh yeah. Let me finalize. I just wanted to say that like we have the obligation as Kenyans to hold the country accountable, because right now we don't have an opposition. It's very visible. So this thing about being changiwad, like about fair ya kuenda kuangalia some project that is not completed by the government, it doesn't sit right with me. In my humble opinion, it doesn't sit right with me, because if this guy, tomorrow there's another project which was not completed by the government and I need to hold the government accountable, and people are not giving me money for that purpose, I'll feel like demotivated to go there, and that's not the point. If anyone has a predictable income, you should feel resourceful to hold your government accountable, because we are all in this together. But anyway, thank you for the opportunity, for letting me speak. It's a nice thing that you guys are doing. Big up KOT Sonko and big up Wafula Wanyama. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, bro, for sharing. Yeah. So let me welcome leaders.
Well, thank you. Did you call the leaderless?
Yes, leaderless Kenya. Kindly, Jared.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to have had a chance to join this today. And it's been interesting to listen to what everybody else is saying. So I'll be quick and brief because I need to join another meeting. My background is in leadership and governance. And I thought that's one of the things that I can share in terms of how to help this group. So we have got 3 years to go, and 3 years is a lot of time. And that can let Ruto buy or sell himself back to the people. And as we speak now, he lost trust with a lot of people. And it'll take a lot of time within the next 3 years to actually try and regain that. And somebody was talking about what he's doing through the women. I also like the fact that we need to realize that we are not fighting the politicians. We are fighting bad governance. And the actions that we take will get us to where we want to go. We must have something to cling on to that makes education more interesting. Like, for example, what has sold the Gen Zs is the finance bill. They had something to hang on to, and that has popularized everything that they're doing to get a buy-in from the bigger population. And as a parent, I'm sold. My friends are sold because they saw exactly what was done. So my suggestion in terms of public education is to have snippets of things to whisper. You know, something that is on the rumor mill. So the rumor mill will pick it up and escalate it. But we can get everything on that conveyor belt. Like, for example, the 12.5 billion that is lost. We can talk about the bad projects. We talk about corruption. So we can get everything on that conveyor belt and it will go. So let's get something that is alongside a whispering message. And maybe we can talk about this on how to do that practically. Then we have things like the fight against corruption. I like the way Caswell and others have gone out, but we can wake up. And I had this a little earlier where there was an agitation that let's go and fight corruption on the ground. Let's not just talk about it. Let's go and fight it. And I'll give an example. If you go to an office, we can masquerade and go to an office. And when you are asked for a bribe, you can record that. You can take a picture and start talking about it in public. If a matatu jumps the lights, you know, we can be at the traffic light and say, this is not to happen. And with this, then we become, you know, the public will pick it up or the social media will pick it up and it will go out. Kama maadili ya wa Gen Z. They want things done right. And let's say, for example, we take the agriculture. You know, the way the fertilizer was a scam, or the way he is now talking about you cannot plant dengue, or, you know, and then let's the vernacular stations or translate all these things to go to the grassroots and let people know that this is what Ruto is trying to do. Then when people realize and understand all these things that we're trying to do that are right, then we now do what we call institutionalization. When we institutionalize it, that means that we have formed a group that is going to make a plan on how to now rally everybody else onto the bandwagon and say that we are following these people because they are doing the right thing for us. Then we redirect the energy of the Gen Zs. This is like a blessing in disguise to the country. So what we need to do is to re-energize or redirect that into like what Burkina Faso are doing now, going out into the institutions. How do we do that? Then we can take the rot. You know, we have got a lot of rot every day. Put it on the vernacular stations. I believe we can do what we call a national fundraising where people will own the idea and fund it. And I remember somebody like Kigame went across to Bungoma, somewhere in Western, and instead of giving money, people were giving him money and giving him things to take away. So the ownership of the idea would create a lot of funding for it to move to the next level. So let us let people know, people on the ground, that we can take the rot and use it in terms of education, in terms of where to go. Then let's counter. I like the idea of somebody talking about Ruto, the women rep now being used to reach out to the, you know, constituencies and give money. You know, it's a superfluous position, if I may call it that way, because it doesn't add value. It's an overrepresentation. But if they're not being used the wrong way like that, then we can counter it by going to the radio stations, by taking clips of what is happening on the ground. We can use the women on the ground after going to the vernacular station for them to let us know what it is and let us talk about it. Then somebody talked about the WhatsApp groups. That is the largest. So we can have the WhatsApp groups started at the ward level, at the village level, you know, and have as many of them, different groups, so that when a message lands, they can share it with everybody else and then move on. Now, one thing that we have on our hands, which is such a powerful thing, is the smartphone. And how many people have smartphones? That is the best way to educate people. So if we can get access to people with smartphones and get our messages before them, between 5 and 7, a lot of the first thing that people do when they wake up after having their devotion is to find out what's up on the phone. So if we have got groups and we have all those things there, it will work miracles. And then finally, let's use the vernacular stations to educate the people who can understand Swahili or English, is to go to mother tongue. So if we can look at a program, a way we can do that, it can be powerful. And that's why offering something like a strategic direction in terms of how to get all these things done will make this guy completely crippled. And maybe the biggest surprise that we can give them is to hold the demos for now. Let's surprise them, retreat and plan so that when you come back, you come up with a bang and know exactly what to do. And the fact that Raila is with Ruto is an abomination. So the opposition now are the Gen Zs. So how do we equip them to become good opposition? I think we need to go back to the ground and hide and do. And I know my friend Jiru can be very helpful in terms of giving a direction legally how to do about this. So, but we're here. So let us know how to help, how to guide, how to support. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Wanyama, I can see you dropped Jimbona. You wanted to say something. Anyway, let me have Farah Kwanza, then you can come.
Thank you. KOT, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So we've had a very productive day, Lewe, where we went to. So before I even tell you where we went and everything, on the 9th of this month, there was a petition filed in Parliament to have more positions for 2 positions for the youth and 2 positions for people with disabilities. And any petition, such a petition is a political petition because it touches on the IEBC. And the IEBC is the election governing body in the country. So some of the groups that nominate people into the selection panel are the religious groups, and that is the Interreligious Council of Kenya. This year, it's the Evangelicals and NAMLEF, which is the National Muslim Leaders Forum, from the Interreligious Council of Kenya, who are forwarding names into the selection panel. And we got the names of the people who were forwarded because we had a meeting with the Secretary General of NAMLEF, which is the National Muslim Leaders Forum, in their offices in Hurlingham. They forwarded the name of Madam Fatuma Ali Saman, and he told us directly that they could not support our petition because it would be a conflict of interest to them, as they are the people as they are the organization that forwarded the name. So supporting a petition in Parliament against the selection panel while they are stakeholders is a conflict of interest. But there were channels that were opened within the same office, luckily. Then afterwards, we went with Kasmuel and Kenya Daima and Shakira as well. We went to the office of the Deputy Minority Whip, which is who is Millie Odhiambo, and handed her the petition. Which was it to letter to and follow up on the petition, and also who to CC and who is involved in the legal committee. Hello? Sorry, somebody called me.
Farah, we have not heard you for some time. This is Wanyama. So I think please sort out your internet. This is very key.
Can you hear me? Somebody called me, sorry.
Now we can hear you.
Yes. So she also offered to, this is Millie Odhiambo, offered to, as she sits in the House committee, the House Business Committee, she offered to put the petition in the business of the House, but that's not guaranteed that it's going to come up for debate until it goes through the legal and what's it called?
Farah, we can't really hear you. Or is it only me? Marvin, can you hear him?
Sorry, I keep on getting calls.
Let's do this, Farah. Just finish with the calls and then come back. I'll always give you the chance because we need to hear the feedback from that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Just
Then,
yeah,
so
then
I'll be
come
back.
down. CFA, Nora. And guys, keep requesting for the mic. I'll keep accepting your request. We need as much as opinion as possible on civic education, mashinani. Marvin will be back shortly. He's sorting out something. Request for the mic. Hii forum ni yenu, si yetu. And also, whatever language you're comfortable in, please come to the mic. I think, CFA, you had spoken, right?
No.
Okay, go ahead and speak.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you are well. Natumai nyote mko salama. Wacha niongee Kiswahili mimi. Najifunza Kiswahili ya kwenda kuongea Mombasani, naenda kufanya huko civic education. Haya, sasa on matters civic education, personally I've been nimekuwa nikijaribu kuongelesha watu hata kwa ofisi especially mali nafanya kazi, na we still have a lot to do. Okay, mi kusema kwa ukweli kwa side yangu bado niko na kazi mingi ya kufanya. Nitawapea example. There is kuna mama mmoja in specific mwenye tunafanya na yeye, ako na watoto wawili wenye sahi wanaingia college. Na imagine yeye, she is against sisi kwenda kwa streets. She's like anaogopa, anasema tu tuwaache wamalize term yao watoke. And aski yo like, and mi umuona vile yeu struggle kutafuta vile atalipia watoto wake fee, loan here and there and all that. Lakini yeye hataki hiyo maneno kabisa. Anaona tukienda kwa streets tunamuharibia nchi. So nimekuwa nikijaribu kumuongelesha and kuongea na watu wazee si rahisi kidogo iko na changamoto zake, but we keep trying. Mpaka nilienda extend ya kumwambia basi hebu nipe namba yao hao watoto wako niongee na wao nijue what this new funding model is about. Yani nipate kutoka kwao first hand. Na alikataa, alinikataza nisiwaongeleshe. So it's hard. Ni ngumu lakini lazima tupambane. Okay, personally, again, I would say this in terms of kuna vile watu wengine wanajaribu ku divert attention. Mara hii imetokea leo, mara kesho tuna discuss politician yupi anataka kufanya nini. I think hiyo ni njia ya kugawanya attention, and mi ningesema sisi wote tujaribu ku avoid na to focus na movement. The moment tunaanza ku divert attention, inamaanisha tena kuna nini ambazo tutalose. We will lose to some extent, tutalose momentum na tufai to lose. Again, I would say pia kuna hao watu wenye wako against us. Of course, tunajua most of them. Those are also watu wenye tunafaa ku watch out for. The moment wanakuja, they are not hawakuji kutusaidia, wanakuja kusambaratisha chenye tunaendelea kujenga. So pia tukue very careful even when you are doing civic education, tukue aware of them na to avoid by all means. Juu unaweza pata hata umeenda mahali ukaongelesha watu and then kidogo kidogo unaona mtu mwingine amewakusanya anawaongelesha, anawaambia kitu opposite na chenye umewaambia. So ni muhimu sana tukiwa kwa ground tukue aware or nani anatutroll, nani anatufuata, all those things. Kama mimi kuna mali nilikuwa naongea na watu wa bodaboda karibu na mali naishi, and then kuna jamaa tu alipita hapo nikaona ameniangalia kidogo kidogo, nikishamaliza kuongea nao nikipita nikamwona tena anarudi anaenda hapo, na nikamwona ameenda akastop hapo akaanza kuongelesha. So ni kama alikuwa anajaribu kuuliza nilikuwa nawaambia nini. So hao watu wako hujui ni nani anakusikiza au so ni vizuri tukue aware. Marvin amesema I think kila mtu anasema tu tujaribu kuongea na language ya kila mtu, cause tunatumia zile vitu zina affect watu kuwaongelesha nazo. Unatumia ile kitu yenye ina affect mtu directly ndio unaitumia kumuongelesha. Mtu anakuambia by the way maisha mimi imenikaukia hata mafuta ya boda sijapata. Now you use hiyo kumuongelesha, unamwambia sasa na umesikia hii bill mpya inasema aje kuhusu the new tax force iko aje, iko hivi na iko vile. Ndio huyo mtu wakati anasema ati tuache Ruto amalize, ajue itakuwa hata mbaya zaidi kuliko vile iko saa hii. Then kitu ingine tunafaa to work on hii divide and rule, tunafaa freeze. Tunaifreeze by hiyo kukua tu bado kwa ground, tukishaongelesha watu wakisha kuwa speaking our language and we are speaking their language, now we tell them hii ku divide and rule hakuna kitu itatusaidia nayo. Hiyo ni ya ukabila na ni ya kugawanya tu watu ndio momentum ipotee na tusikue na focus. So hiyo pia me I don't know personally vile nitai approach, but I know kuna vile tunaweza work around it. Ndio juu every time kama nasikia sasa kina mama wanaenda kuvisitiwa nao women rep, si hiyo ni part of division. Juu unaenda hapo unajaribu kuongelesha, wengine wanakubaliana wengine wanakataa, wako like hapana, unajua mtu wetu alikuja hapa akatuongelesha na akatuambia hivi. So lazima hiyo ni changamoto na lazima to deal nayo. So and then hiyo kitu
Yoti, you put on music. Go ahead,
okay.
Nora. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So I was actually almost done. So the other thing yenye ningesema, especially hiyo part ya civic education, mimi I'm very sad by the way. People are conforming, watu wamekubali kuteseka. Actually hiyo ndio kitu ni kama ndo tuna struggle nayo sahi. People have conformed to the oppression. Wamesema sasa wacha tutese tu amalize yake alafu yani tuendelee. Tumeshazoea. And that is a very bad, hiyo ni kufikiria vibaya. It's a bad mentality kabisa. So if we can fight that, hiyo tutasaidika sana, especially hao watu wenye wamefanya, I think watu walimu na watu wamefanya psychology, watu wamefanya hizo nini za there's a way you can turn around people's thinking, but si ya kila mtu. So I think that one we will need it kabisa with a large force ya kutoa hiyo conformation to oppression. Nikipata nini ingine yenye nilikuwa niongelelea nitarudi. Thank you Wanyama and KOT.
Karibu sana. Anthony, you are here. You are going to be next. The Dawn. The Dawn going once.
Yes. Good evening, my people.
I cannot hear you, The Dawn.
Okay, good evening.
Please sort out your internet issue and then come back.
Wanyama,
Baadaye.
I think nasikia.
Aha. Oh, unamsikia the Don?
Yes.
Okay, sawa. Don, go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Okay, Wanyama unanisikia? Am I audible? Okay. So, chenye ninakuja kusema this evening about civic education we are going on. Like for example, mimi naishi Kangemi. People are tired with this regime. Civic education Kangemi, I think people are now realizing their rights. Wakisikia hata hii finance bill inakuja, I think it will die on its arrival. I think nafaa to get rid of this character at now. Tukisema 2027, I think it may be somehow difficult, but we must get rid of him now, so that returning to the street, that's the solution we have. And they hear our voice, because we no longer believe in our MPs, because this accountability purposes now belongs to us. We are the one who should go that to the general report and see what is going on in our country, because I hear someone is relaunching a project day by day. And relaunch leo bado anarudisha hapo kesho. And the money is going. You see like this thing of university funding. My friend, wale watoto wadosi ndio wamepata hizo do. But wale watoto wa maskini wanasema mzazi, kama utajua mtoto wako alienda university, what is that? Our money is going. Mtu alafu unasikia mtoto wa Ruto ati akona matatu. Hiyo ni laundry. And utasikia ana deposit 20 million per day ati anasema anza matatu. Then this thing of IDs, it has really worried my mind. Like now, ukitaka kuchukua ID ukiwa na mtoto wako, utaka kumchukulia ID, uende pale mahali anachukulia ID, wanakuambia ukuwe na chief's letter na ukuwe na KCSE ama KCPE certificate. So I was thinking what this is for. Ama mtu anaexplainia hapa hiyo sawa, chief's letter is sawa, but KCPE nani, it's requirement. If you don't have, you will not be served. You are being told, come with this document, and you find that that document they want is a bit far. So you just need to travel again and come back. Maybe it's up country. We live in Nairobi. Maybe that Form 4 certificate or say KCP certificate is up country. So what's the purpose of this document? Because I can remember when I was taking my ID, I just presented my birth certificate and my guardian ID copy. But now things have changed, my friend. ID is like you're applying for a passport in this country, and its expiry date, and that ID contains expiry date. So it's like you are buying to live in our own country. This one, I think, he must just come out and tell us. I've heard someone has told and said here that he must come out and tell us that what does he want with money again, because money has given him everything, corruption.
So, Dom,
yes.
Can you hear me clearly, because I want to ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so the area gani where the area chief wants the KCSE certificates for them to enable a person to apply for the IDs, because we need how to follow up.
Yes.
We are identifying problems on this basis, and now we look for a solution. At least you can share with me my DM ama Wanyama's DM, then we try and follow up, because that's not that's not logic. Kuna watu wenye wajasoma, but they need to have those documents.
Yeah, but it was, we were there with my sister in the morning, but I felt bad because I'm being turned away for just ID. That's a copy you just need to have, but telling someone you must have a KCP, KCC. So you see, it's not a good thing in this country, which this character has implicated bad laws to us. I don't know his intellectual, they think, or his advisors. So thank you.
Okay. Done. Thank you so much. Ensure you are sharing those details in my DM.
Okay, I'm sharing my
Okay, you can also do it on my WhatsApp. If kama unaona DM ngumu sana sita reply, you can do it on my WhatsApp because my WhatsApp number iko hapo kwa profile. Just click that link, then you will do it. Okay, back to you Wanyama. Bado sijafika home, so I'll find it hard to host. But in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll be back Wanyama. Nyama ni kama anakunywa supu ya omena. Anyway, can I have more answer?
Yes, good evening, comrades. I salute all of you, comrades. And as we continue, still remembering the comrades that lost their lives during the protest and call and cry for a proper, well-governed country. Ladies and gentlemen, take note that we are fighting a regime. And when we are fighting it, we are not fighting it because it's a regime. There are things that we are fighting in it. Number one, we are fighting poor governance, as indicated by the best of it being poor, Samuel William Ruto. I will not be afraid to call him out because he has given us the worst that we have ever experienced. We are all young people. We have never experienced poor governance. We are experiencing it firsthand, and we will not accept it. We are fighting corruption on a scale that even the devil marvels and is surprised that corruption can happen to this magnitude. And you want to sit at home and play happy and say things are in order, or we will wait for 5 years and we'll get a proper government. You're joking. We are fighting social economic injustices that are experienced every day as the National Assembly continues bringing up and implying laws that are draconian, that continue oppressing you and I. These laws will only oppress us, we the people who want the true governance. Ladies and gentlemen, these laws will always exempt the political class, or they will always find a way how to maneuver around it. If you want to know the truth, see what they are doing to one man, Jimmy Wanjigi. Number 4, we are fighting tribalism, which this fight is for all of us. And you can see the conman at arm with his brother in looting, the brothers and conmen at looting arms. They have joined hands with the in a tribal cocoon to try to divide us all, trying to make us look like we are tribal classes. Bro, when we are suffering, when you are not employed, when the economy is hard on your pocket, most of you, I'm sure you don't sleep early because you are thinking very deeply of your futures. When you are suffering and all that experiences we are going through, it doesn't matter about your tribe at the end of the day. And most of us who have grown up in these areas that are in these cities and towns, cosmopolitan areas, we know that tribe doesn't make sense at the end of the day. There's no way you can wake me up in the morning and tell me, the neighbors next door are from a certain class of tribe and they are not good, but we have been playing with them forever. Those are some of the things that we have to take note that we are fighting. Poor governance, we are fighting social and economic injustice, we are fighting tribalism, and we are fighting corruption. We are not fighting individuals. And when you see that we are fighting these things, and those that are corrupt, those that are tribal are being shaken, those are the devils, those are the demons that we are fighting. People here, the NIS and DCI here, listen, we are not interested to fight you. We are fighting these demons that are called corruption. We are fighting poor governance. We are fighting social economic injustices, and we are fighting corruption. Those are the things we'll fight. And if this fight takes us to whatever direction and you guys feel like fighting corruption is an issue, then you will also sink with it. We are not afraid to tell you straight to the face. the tribal class, or rather the political class, will always unite to fight back, especially when you are demanding what is right by the constitution, when you are demanding what is given as what is required for them to operate. They will never do that. They will never let it go without a fight. But our power is when we are united for a cause. And this cause, we all must know it. We all must know it. We are not fighting Ruto because because he's William Ruto and he's a politician. No, we are fighting William Ruto because he is the head of the snake, leading corruption, leading poor governance, leading social economic injustices, leading tribalism. It is him. He has to take control. He has to take all the responsibility. And people here come and say, we want to wake up the political class. I've been repeating this over and over again. We are not interested to wake up the political class. We are interested to sweep out this looting, this tribal, this corrupt political class. Agenda has my back, as we always know. As they are fighting us, we always have to note that there will always be collaborators within us. There will always be people who have given up. We can't accept to give up even before you begin the race. No? And then this is what we are saying. We will not fight them with one method, and we are going to fight corruption with one method through going to the streets. No. The reason why this movement is leaderless is because everyone is a leader at their own capacity. At my own capacity, I, as Ryan, what am I doing? What can I impact in this generation? From there, nikingia matatu, that's why my number one priority always becomes, let us fight corruption, let us fight tribalism, because at the end of the day, these things never benefit us. From our own capacity, we are all leaders in our capacities. And that's why I'm saying kudos to KOT, kudos to Anyama. You guys, you are leaders. Don't be deceived. Even those who are taking the mic here to speak, those who are listening, you are listening because you are a leader. You can't listen because you don't have anything to contribute. No, you are listening because you know there is a place or somewhere you're going to impact. Continue injecting in the smallest position that you have. We cannot surrender this country. Bro, this country at the end of the day belongs to me and you. We can make this country better. We can't be begging all of us. We can't be looking like a beggar country. We're even moving from third world. We want to be created our own rank down there. If there is anything like fourth world that will ever exist in the economic circle. Because why? Kenyans are hardworking. Out here, Kenyans are hardworking. It's only because Kenyans are hardworking that in East Africa we are remaining to the position that we are. There is nothing that is being done by the political class. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen.
Max, wind up.
Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Let us fight these draconian laws. Let us fight. This fight is for all of us and is not for only one person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Max. And sijakuwa na kusikiza sana because I was trying to find my way home, and of course I'm happy I'm back at home safely, sound and mindful. Anyway, thank you so much. Farah, ebu malizia your submission because you were cut off, so kindly use 2 minutes to malizia, then I give Misiko, and then after Misiko I'll give Kenyans, then Evanso, alafu Obadia, in that order to malizia.
Sawa, shukran bro. Mnanisikia? Thank you. So what we are basically doing is we are trying to take charge of the reconstitution of the IEBC. We already have a petition in Parliament to try and ensure that we have youth and people with disabilities on the selection panel and even on the IEBC as IEBC commissioners eventually. And we've luckily gotten a bit of support from the religious organization. And we're also trying to lobby amongst the parliamentarians as well. As much as we are pushing for the petition, we would also like to know what are the names of the people who've been forwarded, and we can vet them and see whether they're people of integrity or they're not. And I personally told Mili, we will never stop kuwasalimia. If you make a wrong decision, it is our right to call upon you people to go back and make the right decision, because we are the electorate. And there's no point in us saying that we will wait for 2027 while the IEBC is being reconstituted by the same corrupt political class. They have 5 slots in the 9 person panel, meaning they already have a majority. I don't know if most people understand that, because we have, I think it's IFPAC, IFPAC that's also been added to the list of group that nominates people. But other than the two religious organization nominees, the LSK nominee and the IFPAC nominee, the other 5 are political appointments, basically. So we really need to be aware of what's happening with the reconstitution of the IEBC, because it's very easy to have another 2007 election debacle whereby we are told we voted for this person, yes, but this person won. And what happens then? If it's not chaos and anarchy, what happens then? So there's a lot of people online here just because photos were posted, claiming that people have and all these things. But this must be fought on different fronts. There are those who must die with the IEBC. There are people who are doing, for instance, somebody like Morara, he's going after the development projects that have either stalled or were fake from the beginning. People like Hanifa, you saw, she did an amazing job with the Mchanga, and as much as we are still waiting for the audit, let us, and Kinawanyama and KOT here, and Afro, they're always here online keeping the flame burning. So, tafadhalini, let us keep this battle going on as many fronts as possible. If we can get 1 or 2 people to help us along the way, let's use their help until ile point ambayo hatutahitaji tena. So thank you, and if there's any questions, nitajaribu kujibu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Are you with us?
In what way, bro?
Hey, whom do you want me to be with?
I wanted to hear from you, Evan. It's been a minute. These people here have really missed you, and I can attest by that, because a certain lady was in my DM inquiring about your whereabouts, and of course you're here. Probably she's happy wherever she is. Anyway, do you have something to say? You tell us something, and if there is anybody who has a question to Farah, ensure you are raising up your hand so that you can raise that question, and Farah will get back to you. Ayo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ayo the Sixth speaking. It's been a while on these social streets. We took a backbench after the last protest. It was just a moment of reflection, a moment to think about the future, a moment to see what next after all our efforts were thwarted, a moment to see and draft the next step to make as citizens of this country, and to see what next for our country. Within this moment of reflection, I've really discovered and rediscovered a lot of things that have been happening in my country. Read a lot of documents that from different departments or rather offices from this country, including the Adani report, Adani deal. I got a chance to read that whole document. I mean, not like all of it, but at least bits of it that made sense to me and made sense to the public. On matters civic education, I personally feel that there's a lot that really needs to be done. Not only mashinani, but also in the urban centers, or rather in the urban cities. And that means that we really need to inject a lot of education, civic education to the people, even us as youths, and they call them Gen Zs, and like on an age bracket, from an age bracket of 35 going, or rather 40 going downwards, we all need civic education, because there's this issue of politics of mtu wetu. There's this issue of politics of the tribal politics of which, of course, the politics of mtu wetu. there are issues that you're not talking about that we really need to pump into our minds, because at the end of the day, we are headed towards an electioneering period, and we really need to change the direction, the voting patterns. We really need to change the voting patterns. It's like we really need to turn the table upside down for the political class and even us as individuals. We really need to shock even these politicians, because at the end of the day, they feel like, you know what? At the end of the day, we'll dish out cash and we'll revert their minds back to look at us, and things will go on as usual, which should not be the case. From where I sit, I think we really need to rethink our voting patterns. We really need to think who we are voting for. We really need to know and be self-aware of what's happening in our country, because a lot is happening, and if you don't know, you'll still be stuck on these issues of politics of mtu wetu. We'll still be stuck with the tribal voting patterns. We'll still and we'll not look at the meritocracy. We'll rather go on the tribal mentality. So that is all I have to say for now. But what I need to sensitize on, civic education not only needs to be sensitized huko mashinani, but also in the urban centers. Kwanza huku urban centers ndio tuko na shida kubwa sana, by the way. Because in these cities, if we don't make the right decisions, like Nairobi, Mombasa, Kitale, name it, Kisumu, name wherever that city is. And now I can see Eldoret was given a city status. We really need to sensitize the civic education down there, because hizi cities zetu, if we vote, if we allow thugs to get into those political seats, or rather those offices, they are going to turn our cities to be what Nairobi is today. The dirtiest city that used to be the cleanest, that is what we are going to get back into. The most congested city in Kenya, that is where we are getting back to, because we voted names like Sonko, names like Sakaja, who have done nothing to improve the cities. So what does that mean for us? These cities, we really need to protect them by voting in the right people into those offices. So another thing that I need to urge people, that I've been urging people on spaces, enough of us speaking about these politicians. We need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what about us? When will it be our turn? And that is also civic education. When will it be my turn? When will I say it's now KOT's turn, because he's a young person, he has the best interest of the nation at heart? Why don't we endorse someone like KOT? Why don't we endorse someone like Dr. Majus? Why don't we endorse someone like Michael Johnson to get into those political seats, so that tusikae tu tuna cry foul ati awaze? No, tuungane, tutoe awaze, to support wenye wana think like us, so that watoe awaze, we see what we can do. Unajua sisi, we can keep ourselves accountable. Tutakuja hapo tukambia, we wanyama bana, kuna venye kuendi vizuri hapa. Unaget, we KOT, baze kuna venye mabonga, kuna venye kuendi vizuri hapa, na tutacheka na wewe, ni ora for ora, because you understand our language best. Enough of those oldies, those old politicians, Raila, expiry date yao ishafika, wamesha expire. Let's get young people to pick up. Akina Makoure, akina Kasamuel, let's support those people. This is also civic education. Let's support them, so that tusemenyewe, we've done a good role in wiping away the old the old people. Now it is time for the young people, because there's a country that the president is almost 30-something years. Which country is that guy that took over power just the other day, tukienda maandamano? Those are the people who should be inspiring us. So as I yield my mic, I've talked too much. As I yield my mic, even as we talk about civic education, let's also think about the future by us coming up as young leaders. Someone said, we are young leaders. Let's come up, go clinch those seats. Nana naweza sema mimi at 34 years hizi kwa governor, naweza kuwa. Ni constitutional, niko na ID, naweza kuwa. Unaget? So, endo kwe governor, tukusupport, tukuweke huko, tukuvotie. Uchange nchi, that's the only way. Unaget, it's not a one-day event. It's they say a journey of 1,000 steps start with a single step. 1,000 miles start with a single step. It's now our turn to take that step by pick your kura, kuwa na ID yako, to register as voters. Ikifika hiyo day ya elections, tuende tupigiane kura. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayo. I agree with you. So, Wanyama, just a minute, bro. Okay, so thank you so much, Ayo.
Nataka kuelimisha. Huyu kijana anaitwa Ayo.
Oh, okay.
Ayo. Anyway, Kayoti, ni ku-highlight too for him. Ayo, anaitwa Bassirou Diomaye Faye. He is 44 years old and is the president of Senegal.
Yes, that guy, that one. Sisi, hata kama uko 25 years, hata kama uko 30 years, hata kama uko 35, bro, sis, you got this. Tutakusupport. I can see, kwanza Mkenya Diamond mwana anafanya kazi fiti sana. I saw the pictures. Big up, man. Big up. And I applaud you for whatever you're doing, Kenya Daima. Let's keep on pushing. Because if we don't push, we will be pushed out. So it's our turn to push and push and push so that nobody pushes us out. If Mkenya decides to start, akisimama tena nataka nini uko Makueni, uko Kathonzweni, tutamsupport. To rally. Hata kama ni lazima tuende uko. Saizi tuko tribeless. Hata kama nini mtu anafanya, wewe ni mjaka na nini inafanyika huko Ukambani, go, enda huko, rally for someone, enda huko Kikuyu land, rally for someone. Saizi we have to kick tribalism inje kabisa na to wash hii system ikue clean kama pamba. And it is not a day event. It will take us years, but one day we'll look back and say we saved our country.
Ayo, and just to add on to something Ayo amesema, if something became clear to me today is how to hatuchukuli seriously because they do not think we can organize politically. They see us as just noisemakers and people who we are just, it's going to be it's just the in thing for us right now. So let us think about organizing politically as well. But since Mkenya Daima ako hapa, I will drop the mic. He's best suited to address us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Kayoti.
Wanyama na Ayo nitawateremsha hapa mbio. Wewe, taking boss. Anyway, Mkenya, can you tell us what happened? We saw you guys with Millie Odhiambo and we are wondering what were you doing with that grandma in the parliament?
Okay, yeah.
And in Kenya, who was the evangelical nominee as well? And who was the ODM nominee as well? Because I forgot those two names.
Okay, fine. I'll remind you. Guys. Don't worry. We are here. And one thing with Gen Z and why I've always insisted on the aspect of being leaderless is that people can call you out and, you can have what we call like a consensus and what led to Mkenya Daima to be where he was and, and Kenya Daima can provide that explanation and everyone can listen and say, Kenya Daima, we feel like you are deviating from our agenda and our agenda is one, being able to change this country. And it is the Gen Zs that are going to do that and the millennials. So I'll jump in straight to, you remember on 9th, I submitted a petition. And this petition, I've insisted on it. This petition, the petition that I submitted, it is to make sure that we are included in the most important process in the country, the process that selects our leaders. And I wanted us to be included in it, not by begging, but by us being youths, we needed to have positions. So I want to reiterate on now the current, the team that is responsible for steering our elections, how it is constituted, how it looks like, the structure of it. The structure of it, it has 9 members. And I want you guys to listen carefully. Unajua when we were seeing them signing the NADCO report, tulikuwa tunacheka tu. We didn't realize why are all politicians together. All of a sudden, Kalonzo is on the same podium, Raila is on the same podium. Every politician that we know, when they were signing the NADCO report and approving this into the law and everything, there is one thing that we didn't realize. The NADCO report is 520 pages. And I think they made it that voluminous for a reason. If they put it simple and put it those out issues simple, we would have read through it within one day, and so many people would have been on the street, especially on the reconstitution of the IEBC. But I decided, you know what, as Mkenya Daima, I will go through it. I will just go through it, the 520 pages, and see what are these 520 pages. And they were doing this while the Maandamano and everything was happening. What is in that? It came up with one conclusion: reconstitution of the IEBC. They formed 9 members, and in these 9 members, 2 are from Azimio, 2 are from Kenya Kwanza. So we already have 4. 1 is from independent candidates. So those are 5, all politicians. Those are 5, all politicians. One is 2 are from interreligious council. That's the Muslim, and the other one is Christian. So tumefika 7. Those are 7. 1 is from IcePark, and the other one is from the one for accountants. The other one is from LSK. Those are 9. And now, if those are 9, I want you guys to understand what these 9 people are going to make a decision for population of 70%, because youth right now under 35, we are 70% of the population. That's one thing that you guys need to understand. And in any country and in the constitution, we are regarded as the special group. So the special group is usually in every part of the process. And in this process that is responsible for selecting leaders for the 70% of the population, why are you leaving them out? That's one point. Why are we being left out in what matters? Mbona mnataka kutuweka kama nini, sijui watu, sijui tunakwanga, sijui not even returning officer, hata tupeangu returning officer, ule mtu the lowest position ya IEBC ni huko chini. Why is that? So then we realized that we need really to petition, to create a petition that will be able to give us positions, that will be able to give us those positions. And these positions have to be there by law, so that when the church is forming MOU with the person they have sent, when the interreligious council is forming MOU with the 2 people they have sent, we're also forming MOU with the 2 people that we have sent. Because when you look through the petition that we presented, we've highlighted we need 3 positions. One for male, the other one for female, and the other one for people living with disabilities, because we are under the same categories with people living with disabilities, PWDs. So that's a conversation that we needed to have. Then now, one challenge, coming up with a petition, consulting and everything, that's not even the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is moving the petition to ever even get to the floor. So now we started identifying who are these people that now we are going to make sure that our petition imefika na imesomwa, imekuwa na reading date, whereby we can write to the parliament and we are invited to the parliament to as people we are there while the petition is being read. Because remember, this is now, right now, the leadership of this country, it is what determines everything. If you guys, kama sahi tunateswa na Ruto because of IEBC, tunateswa na every other person because, you know, every leadership matters in every aspect in this country. So that's a process that we can't afford to miss. So the next steps are like, unajua ukisubmit petition na ukae, that petition will be thrown out. That's a thing for sure. So now we started looking for those people who are sitting in whatever position. The first person that we identified is the person who is the parliamentary advocate from LSK. You get, because now we need to seek guidance. Myself, I'm just a software engineer. All I do is write code. I'll wake up, write code, make system, develop website, develop all that. But there are other aspects that I do not understand about what really goes next when you write. Mkisha cutting the lawyers Diana could draft the petition and everything. You have the petition. Sign the petition. Unajua vitu zinahitaji muscles na just the brain, which I'm sure niko nayo ile kidogo. But now there are these other aspects that I do not understand these processes. Remember, guys, I'm just a fellow Gen Z. Now I was like, no, we are going now to identify all these people who are sitting in key position to make sure that our petition lazima ifike ikue read, ifike kwa reading. Everyone else watakwambia kina Mzalendo si alisema ameishi kusubmit petitions zinashindanga zikirushwa nje. But now we are not going to do things at half. Unaona? We are going to do things mpaka mwisho. You get, kama itakataliwa tuende kwa koti, ikiwa imekataliwa after imepewa reading, after Gen Zs pia tumeshow up for that reading when it is happening in the parliament. So now hizi vitu we need to identify the people who are going to be like the enablers of the petition. You get the people who are sitting in these several offices. First, tukaenda kwa LSK because LSK have stood with us during time ya maandamano. It's not lie. LSK have stood with us. You get, LSK have stood with us. So tukaenda kwa LSK for advice because like kuna vitu mingi message na people have experience here. Na me wherever there is that knowledge nitaenda because like what's up. So we show up to LSK, we meet the parliamentary advocate, basically huyo ni wa petitions too. So tukamwambia this is our petition. Go through it. Do you think it has some weight and everything? You get, akapitia akasema yes, okay, this is a good petition and everything. Then akatuambia now nyinyi mnafaa push. Then sasa me I'm sitting there, Shakira is sitting there, Kasmuel is sitting there, and you are wondering, okay, umetuambia to push. Sasa tupush aje? Yes, tunaweza andika tweets, tunaweza fanya nini, tunaweza fanya a little bit of mobilization hapa na pale. But how do we push? We're like, who are the key people who are sitting in several positions here and there? You get, first of all, akatuambia people you can work with is the civil society. Akatuambia you can try as much as possible to avoid the politicians. You get, and unless you feel like, you know, it's necessary, unless you feel like, you know, this is someone who mtampresent, you know, make sure like imefika and everything. So now we were in that position. We are just identifying different people who are sitting in those key positions. First one, alikuwa Mili. And remember, petitions are taken to the business, how do we call the business committee? The business committee. That's where petitions are taken. So who is sitting on that committee? One of the people who is sitting in that is the deputy minority whip. Deputy minority whip at the moment is Millie Odhiambo. Okay, then was like, kwani Millie Odhiambo anapatikana wapi? Like, I mean, if kama tumepeleka petition on 9th, we've not had anything. You get, so it means we need feedback, and you guys saw us submitting the petition. So what kind of youth are we going to be if when we start something we don't follow it up? You get, in whatever it means to make sure that it goes to fruition. So what happened is we reached out to Millie. You get, akatuambia mali ofisi yake iko, and then now we started looking for other people because we need support from the Muslims, we need support from the Christians. Now we started looking for those guys who are willing to support our petition and they are part of it. So we looked for the bodies that are in charge of the Muslim, and we've also looked for the body that is in charge of that is in charge of the Christians and everything. So we reached out to one of the bodies, which is the NAMLEF. NAMLEF is the National Muslim Leaders Forum, NAMLEF. So we reached out to NAMLEF, and NAMLEF, they were like, okay, we are situated there, let's come, we meet, we discuss, we see your petition and what you are needing, and as NAMLEF, where we can support you, we are going to support you for this petition. So we set the dates and we set the sale. So we said like today we are going to meet NAMLEF. We met NAMLEF from 11. We met with them, with their Secretary General, the Secretary General for the country for NAMLEF, and we went through a petition. Pia katupea advices in terms of petitions, because those are people who've done now petitions for years and all, and they've won petitions and all that. You get, they've been in the fight for all this. So after meeting with NAMLEF, then now we had the meeting with the deputy minority whip. So we met with then now we met with Millie, and when we met with Millie, the conversation was, we have tabled a petition. This is the petition. So and now the parliament right now is in recession, so nothing else is going. And Millie is someone who is responsible for the business. She's in the business committee. So that's someone who will take it to Murungaru. Murungaru is the one who is in the justice. The one that will be in charge of looking at that petition. So we needed someone who is going to. We've presented the document to you as well, and we also presented to the Speaker of the National, the Clerk of the National Assembly. So we needed someone to sit. This document tulikupea. So like this is not a favor or anything. No, this is us, and we are not even request. It's not a request or anything. You saw this petition and we presented. Why is it not getting a reading? Okay, so we had to look at all those people who are sitting in those key strategic places who can be able to serve us to make sure like our petition gets to reading. Those were just the efforts. So when I was meeting with Millie, we weren't meeting with Millie to discuss politics, to discuss what. No, it is meeting with Millie, and why from 9th we've not even had something. I mean, now we get an understanding of what the parliament is in recession, but when it resumes, which is on the second week of September, because us getting the key dates is also something that is important. And if kama key dates zinapatikana kwa ofisi ya deputy minority whip, because today we were to go to the parliament. Akatuambia, no, don't worry, I also have an office in I have an office somewhere there. I don't know whether it's around Lavi or where. I have an office there, the office that we went, because we were to go to parliament, because we needed answers, and we needed answers as far as yesterday. That's when we needed the answers. So yeah, we went there, met with Millie. We discussed the petition, what our petition, and she said, yeah, this is a very considerable case because you can't make decision for the 70% of the people. That's a part of them. 70% of the people, imagine they are not represented, and we are the youths. So it means that we really need to be on the constitution of the IEBC. And that panel of 9 people that they have put, I want you guys to know, this is the panel that selects the commissioners. You get, so you see how this is such a powerful. It's way bigger. And the moment you get there, that's when you realize, oh, okay, so this is where we are. Alafu hakuna option. Ukifika place yenye unajua unaweza kuwa Chris Musando, you can be killed and everything because of just pushing anything to do with election, especially requesting the reconstitution of the IEBC to cover you, to make sure that it covers us. It means it has gotten to a point where you can die. But that's advice rudi nyuma tena. So the only option is to forge forward and to make sure that this thing comes to fruition. That like hakuna any option. There is no any other option left. So just to summarize everything, the reason why I met with Millie, I saw someone quoted it out of concept, and you are like, oh, all of a sudden, no, these guys have become one of them and everything. No, we are on a business, we are on a mission, and this is what we said. Can you do something for the movement? Yes. Can you present a petition? Present. Kuna anyone mwenye ako kama blog or someone who is there who can enda patana na yeye apeleke huko. I wasn't meeting with Millie kumwambia ati I need anything. Millie herself can attest. When we were moving from Namlef to the Namlef to office ya Millie at around 2 p.m. Whose car were we? We were in the Caswell's car. When we were moving there to go at home, and she can also attest, she offered to get us something from Java and everything. But we all said, oh, thank you, madam. Sitko full. You get, because we just want to keep an engagement whereby it's not about, we are not going there for it's due our stomachs. No, we just want to be objective. If we are meeting with a politician, we are not meeting with a politician as a politician. We are meeting with you as someone who is going to take my petition and move it to Murungaru. I don't know if it's called Murungaru or Murungari, and to make sure that it gets a reading date. The moment we are given the reading date, then we write to the parliament to get an invitation as youths. As youths, as Gen Zs, to tokea pale when that reading is happening, to get that formal invitation of to the parliament. If we don't get formal invitation, and let me put it this way, we are going to court, and if the court is delayed, then it means situlienda parliament mara ya kwanza. So hii ya saida tushinda aje, we'll go. You get, we have to be there when the reading is happening. So that's it. So these are things that are clear. It's not like atuko pale kubeg. We can't be 70% of the population and you think we are going to beg. No, we are not going to beg. We are going to follow the formal channels. And if the formal channels are not working, then we are going to use the informal. Situko na miguu. Aya, situko na fare. Sitatembea tu kwani parliament ni nini? See, we've been there. So we'll just be there for a second time. Yani already we did that pre-tour. Will be there. So to make sure that this country understands that the youth in this country are not playing. Mukitaka, we go the formal ways whereby we go through petitions, the nini, we're going to do that. But when it gets to a point you want to delay us, believe me, we'll just walk to the parliament. Okay, because I don't think I'm afraid to walk there and say I presented the petitions of us, and where are things not moving? So that was basically it. I don't think I was there for my little stomach, and that was basically how I found myself in a position whereby we're having a conversation with Millie, and her also assuring us that it will be a responsibility to make sure that when the parliament resumes on the second week of September, she will pick that petition and make sure like imefika. Shared numbers specifically for this communication of your petition imefikia wapi, itapata reading higher. So then also sasa katu advise on the next step, because you also have to seek the we got an advice from LSK, then now we also got advice from her. So the next steps are make sure you write a letter to the clerk of the National Assembly as well. So like to make sure that if the pressure is coming from all the points, and if things look like they are not working well, take the case to the court, because we need to tell the clerk this matter is very urgent. This is it. It has to be this. This has the one to be the one to start. But again, Milieu have also done the same. But it was all coming from those aspects. So anyone who saw me out there and everything, one thing is, if you're part of this movement and whatever you are doing is doing justice to the movement, don't be afraid to show up. Mimi na hii kitu yangu yenye nashinanga nimevalisha kofia nikificha msione like nywele na bald kidogo. Nilitoa kofia na nikasema, you know what, this country is bigger than my bald head. I will be there, and we'll try to make sure that don't be afraid to show up. If you are a sellout, people will know you are a sellout. But if you are doing this for the greater good of everyone, and I always insist on this, leaders are going to come out by merit. Wachana hizi stories zingine ati wacha tuchague sijui Wanyama ama achague Ayo ama tuchague Mkenya Daima. No, don't rush to chagua Mkenya Daima. Don't rush to chagua sijui Kioti Songo. Don't worry. Leaders are going to come out by merit. When we get there at the end, tutajua who we can trust, but even in a position, work in clusters. Kioti Songo, unaona hiyo civic education mnaorganize, endeleeni kuorganize. Don't be worried. Anyone you can meet and can support that, endeleeni work na yeye. Wanyama, Kinayo, all those productions that you are running, the video productions that you are running, to make sure that you are light on everything. Guys, continue. We are going to work in those clusters, and the agenda is one. Ruto must go by all means, because that's the only way.
Okay. Mkenya, nimetaka nikupose kidogo, then we see if there are people who have questions regarding the petition, so that wanaweza kuuliza. Then on top of the hour, I will hand over to Ayo. We continue with the conversation. So like we use the next 12 minutes. Kama kuna any question regarding the petition, if you need to know something, kama nimeona swali hapa mtu anauliza, is it the same parliament yenye umepeleka petition ndio tunataka ikuwe dissolved? And I was unable to answer that question, of course. So yeah, I think we can take some questions, then on top of the hour we hand over to you.
KOT, can I answer
do you
the
have
question?
Any person with a question? Farah ama Misiko?
The question you just
any
posed.
Person with a question? Misiko?
Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me well.
Misiko.
Yeah, you can hear me? Hi. Unanipata? Kioti? Wanyama, you can hear me?
Misiko, your mic is open, but person
I can hear you.
Okay,
You can hear me?
Okay, so Wanyama, Wanyama, you can take over in the next.
Misiko,
okay, now
you go ahead and ask your question.
So my question is, I wanted to ask, one, how did you people plan this to meet the illegitimate parliament that you want it out of the government? And in which position were you people standing to submit your views to this parliament?
Okay, do you want to answer that?
Okay, I can take all the questions, then I will answer them. So it's yeah.
Okay, anyone else with a question? So that Kenya answers all of them at once. This is Wanyama speaking. We want questions. So that Kenya answers all of them at once. Hakuna swali ingine?
Or if they're not on the speaker
I can see the answer of Farah. Wanyama.
Pardon?
I'm seeing Farah carrying his hands.
No, bro, I dropped. Once Kenya said we'll take all the questions, then answer at the end, I dropped my hand because I don't have a question. I'm just going to help him answer the questions as I was part of the meeting.
Okay, let me add Armstrong here. Armstrong is raising his hands.
Wanyama, can you hear me?
Let me also check the.
Wanyama, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Because it seems I'm not audible. Mkenya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to tell Wanyama, probably you can, for the people who are not on the speaker, you can tell them to type their questions on the comment section so that we pick all the questions at once from the comment section and even from the speaker panel. Then Kenya gets to answer them all at once. Or, of course, Kenya has an aide that can help him answer some other questions. So that we make this seamless and flawless and as quick as we can.
Someone tell him Wanyama has heard. Okay.
Okay. I think I can reply the first question that I received, and I'll say this: the position that I was in, because my petition is as a Kenyan youth. So since I'm under the age of 35, that is the position that I was in. It is a position that was coming from as a concerned youth. And the other thing, when the first time I said that I'm going to form a petition, the first time I said that this war is on all fronts. So if the parliament is illegitimate or not legitimate, whichever next parliament that is going to be installed, if the parliament is going to be dissolved, whichever next parliament that is going to be there, it is going to find my petition there, because it's going to find that our petition there. So basically what is happening is it has gotten to a point whereby everyone must take responsibility in their own way. You must start taking responsibility. If you are a youth, you must start taking responsibility, because yes, we are leaderless and all, which is really good, because I wasn't there as a leader of Gen Z. I wasn't there even as a leader as a youth. No, when I was writing the petition, as a youth who has been left out in the selection panel. I didn't see a youth in that, and that is something that needs to be there by law. So that's why I was part of making that petition. So that's one front, and whatever we are adding there is just basically us adding the other copy that we had to Milio Thiambo. So when someone is asking me, is this the same parliament? See, parliament, I think it is over in Itakuja. And remember, we have to be attacking in all sides. We have to be present in all sides. Apart from this petition that I'm working with likes of Armstrong as people who are translating Armstrong is the one who has done the translation of the videos that explain the odious deaths and also other aspects of our death, the KRA and all in Kijalu. And he can tell you we are like 63 translators that are there currently. So it is about, we are going to be there in all fronts. When instead of kukaa chini na to push tuandike tu hashtag, which is a very important thing, if you see something that you can contribute in, ukiona somewhere where you can take your energy and contribute in, and you say, okay, this is going to be my focal point, especially on the IEBC reconstitution, because clearly there is a problem there. So it is coming from that point. Did I go there as a leader of anyone? No, I did not go there as a leader of anyone. I went there as a youth, a concerned Kenyan youth. Why the reconstitution of IEBC is happening? So yeah, I hope I have answered it satisfactorily. So because the question was what position of
Kenya?
Yeah?
Can I add something? Because one thing we need to be aware of is there are our ideals which we would like and what we aspire to have, where it's people who are accountable, people with integrity and all of these things. And then there's the reality, whereby we live in a country that is so corrupt that there is no one you can trust. We cannot live in our ideals as our reality. We have to merge these two worlds. That is why you shake every hand and wipe your hand afterwards. You use every vehicle that can get you to your destination. Make as many friends on the way, but do not trust everybody you meet. So we are using the petition as a constitutional right. Whether we are going to dissolve this parliament and have the petition in the next parliament, or this parliament listens to it, we still need youth representation in the IEBC. Thank you.
Okay, Misiko.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you a minute.
Okay, I think you took my 1 minute to ask a question. Now let me share my view. So Kioti, Wanyama, Ayo, and Mkenya. Civic education is the way that everyone is adopting, and we are really doing a lot of civic education out here so that people can understand what we are really fighting for. But what is coming to my mind tonight is that we people, KOT, Wanyama, I can see a number of people. We normally meet here every day, maybe during the day and even at night. We are left behind. That is what I can freely say. It may hurt you, or it may not hurt you, but you are left behind. When did Mkenya and the other team sat down and did the whole thing and represented that thing to the MPs, the so-called MPs that we don't want? Where were we? Where was it communicated? Does this mean that we have some people who are grouping themselves, planning their own thing for their own benefit or for their own interest? What I understand, as the Gen Z movement started, our aim was to kill the finance bill, which we killed. Then what next? The finance bill was killed, but now the government did not adhere to what we wanted. They came with the shenanigans issues and lead us behind, including the other Gen Zs who grouped themselves. And even the last day when we were to go for the Maandamano, these people are telling us, don't go, you'll be killed. Just to notice that these people had regrouped themselves, they had their plans, and they were well organized than others who had the same motive to go for the Maandamano and have the government out. So my call today is this. I'll remind you something, Kyoshi. You remember on the last Maandamano when you came with an Uber with some few bottles of water at Nation Center? You remember? This have to tell you that we really need to plan ourselves. There's no option. In any war, in any fight, people have to plan themselves. So what is the plan? Kioti, Wanyama, Ayo, you guys have to come up with a plan. You either come up with a plan whereby you have a number of people that you people trust. You can plan something together and move forward. In space, we may be here with the DCI. We may be here with the people who are against the movement. So what is the next thing? We need a plan. Come up with a plan. Like the other day, you remember the last minute when you come up with this Mchanga, and then it failed us. We send money and then the thing was shut down. So we need early preparation. We come up with a plan whereby we people, even if we'll be contributing something, and then we come in that separate group, separate place where we people can meet and say, you see what guys, on 27, we are going for Maandamano. This is how we are going to show. This is how we are going to come up. If you're not doing that, people, I'll just tell you for free, we have some guys with the same motive, but different interests. Everyone here, I feel like it's almost 10, and everyone who is here has a political interest of this country, and maybe 90% or 80% are after a good governance. and maybe the remaining 30 are after their own interest. Mimi nikipatana na Babu Wino akinipiga hiyo so moja mimi niko sawa. We have same people in this group. Mimi nikipatana na Ruto tukiongea akinipatia job mimi niko sawa. We have those people in this group. So why are we left behind? This is a challenge to you, KOT, because you've been hosting this space for a while. You, Wanyama, I have been seeing you here. Mukenya has given us a challenge. I'm not agreeing with Mukenya at all, because whatever they have done is not what we people are pushing for. Now what we are pushing for is this government is not working for us. The MPs have been bought. And even if this Kenya dropped those things to those MPs, trust me, they won't help them. These people they're after their interest. And our goal, Saizi, as a team, ni tuone hii gava imeshuka. That is our goal. Whether imeshuka leo, whether imeshuka kesho, whether itashuka 2027, that is our goal. And that's why we are pushing for civic education, so that at least ule mtu ya koshago, ule bro wako mwenye akumake kwenda high school, akumake kwenda university, understand tunaangalia nini. So that is my view for today. Guys, we need a good structure. We need a plan where we know we are channeling our funds here. If we have a problem, mtu wetu akishikwa unapata, and let me tell you, this is a challenge to anyone. Maybe, sorry if I mention her name here and may offend you, maybe let me use Anifa. Maybe Anifa has a team. If their person will be arrested today, they meet. I've never seen Anifa in this space, even a single day. Just an example anyway. If the person will be arrested, these people will go to the central police station, they pay a cash bill of 10,000, and the person is released. What about us? What about us? That is my question for today. Wanyama, KOT, Ayo, please you guys, can you answer this question? If today, let me just mention anyone in this space, and I should mention a listener, if today Redemptor is arrested, how are you going to know that she's arrested? Which support are you going to give? Are you just going to tweet, release Redemptor, release, and then, guys, Maze, we need to plan ourselves. We need to plan ourselves. Thank you so much for this. Let's keep it up. We are doing a good job, KOT, Wanyama, for really creating your time, 12 people in space, and making them understand what is going on. Thank you so much, and have a blessed night. Thank you.
I don't know, KOT, Wanyama, is it okay if I can just mention something, kidogo, just something small?
Okay, so mention alafu I'll come in.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention this. I wanted to say that this is not something that was planned behind the back. When I read the NADCO report, I was just concerned why are politicians so interested? So then I said,
Wanyama, I wish you would have listened to other people before Mkenya, because that one now it will become an argument between the two.
It's okay, Majus. I understand what you're going to say, but next time, kindly ask for turn taking. We ask that respectfully. That's the only way we'll keep these conversations going. We give time to Kenya, let him clear that. We'll come to you, Majus, as well, and you will pass your point. But for the sake of time, we have to turn take until all points are passed through. Okay,
thank you. I just wanted to say, it's not the first time I've been grilled over this. KOT, Wanyama, and Ayo, many grilled severally over this. Even even when I said I had the idea, and when it went even to the second stage where I submitted it on 9th, I've been on these spaces and I've been grilled over the same. So I think it's a conversation that has also happened. It has not started today when naona ni hot topic on the time. That's all I wanted to kusema. To see at Yamchakua where KOT, Wanyama, you guys, let's go to the DMs. You can see how many DMs of you guys calling me to explain it. Kitambo, not even when today it's at Ilibana Kinamili or so. That's just wanted to clear up too. Nothing much.
Okay, thanks. So nitakusema hivi ndio we go to the next speakers. And the reason why nimekuja kuongea before I hand it over to Ayo so that drive the next speakers is this. Guys, since this thing began, since the movement began, I want to just offer a synopsis and for people to understand mbona napeana this synopsis. When we started, we really had a lot of hopes. Wase wakasema, for the first time, unajua wase wameungana KOT, Kenyans on Twitter, not to you Marvin Mabonga. Kenyans on X wameamua for the first time to lay away easy vitu factions zao, sijui Twitter A, Twitter B, Twitter Chokora, whatever it is, fighting for one thing, that is governance. Reject finance bill ikakuja. We could see some little fights here in growing up. Good thing is, reject finance bill ikashuka, sindio? Kamaliza tukasema hii fight on governance aishi with one tax law. Tukasema let's continue to the next step. Hapo ndio maneno ikaanza. We've been holding spaces hapa online. We've been holding calls. Manze, mimi hapa hivi tumekuwa tukitafuta hawa big wigs, small wigs, whatever you have. Wenye unataka kuwaita whatever you want. Tukatusiwa, tukaambiwa all those things. If there is one big thing nililearn, and the reason why I'm saying this is not to complain that I was affected or etc. Hiyo ni hali ya Twitter. You have to have some thick skin to be on this platform. The reason why I'm telling you this is, if there's something I've learned, and I learned very quickly, is this. In the fight for governance, you really have to remove your emotions and understand that hii game inachezwa based on need and logic. Mtu akibeba gari from point A to point B na aseme nimechoka, usimlaumu. Songa mbele. Amefikisha mzigo point B. Beba from point B to point C or wherever. If you can carry from point B to point F or Z, please do. Governments do not exist in a vacuum, and there is a way they do things. And if you don't try as much as possible to piggyback on each other at this point, tutakuwa tunafanya tu mchezo. Mimi huko naamka mapema kwa Old Space, Keuti ndio huyu hapa anasumbukana in his daily program. Wengine wako huko nje wanaji-offer beyond their work. LSK wamekuwa na sisi in these spaces over and over, breaking down the laws. Tumeamusha mpaka kina Ikuru Record huko usiku watu explainie. Tulikuwa na ayo na kina Koino saa 9 ya usiku. Ikuru Record anatuambia vile waliunda 2010 constitution because we were not understanding. And from there we got some bit of understanding. And over we share exposés. Some of the people that you actually bash here, cops, etc. Miss semi ni watu wazuri, but some information on people missing, etc. and we're doing citizen journalism. It's the people. How to ndio wana share. Semeni hivi about Mkuru kwa Njenga, semeni hivi about all these places, and it became calm. So, kama unataka hii kitu isonge to the next level, one is accept that everyone plays different roles. I personally called Mkenya kuja explain about that petition, because whether we like it or not, one way we are going to push this narrative further, and the movement further, is being involved in active governance. Na petition is one of them. Izo petitions work. They do. That's the pressure in that house. That house does not listen to hizi vitu zingine zina happen. As much as your 25th was good. So, kila mtu afanye chenye anaweza. That's the call. And even in these spaces, tumekuwa na hizo suggestions. Mzalendo sijila ako wapi hapa. Mzalendo has been filing like, Mzalendo has a bank of petitions. Zinakataliwa tu. We were trying to actually find mbona inakataliwa. The guy even knew about the Magbins thing. Before even hizi media zikwe. Before hizi media hata zi announced about it. He came to the space and he was singing about it. Just that no one in the other spaces hakuna mtu alikuwa anamsikiza. It requires logic, and that's the only way we are going to push this thing far. So let's put in logic, unless hiyo kitu ya misi kukua hapa sikukua hivi, attend the spaces, be active, be in those groups, hizo communications are being offered there. The counters, the whatever. Personally, mtu yote anafanya chochote. Ukikuwa kwa ground unaingia bunge la wananchi, niambie. You will get that time. And I'm sure pia KOT will try and support most of those things. Because pale imefika hatuna budget watu. Sisi hatufanyi kitu ati tuko na budget. Hatuna budget ya kukutoa jela. But we can actually talk to wase kama uko LSK. Na wanatusikiza. Hatuna budget ya kuenda kukaa chini tuseme ati tutanunua 100 placards. Hatuna. Huko kila Mkenya wamejitolea. Nani alimpea mafuta? Hakuna. No one. Ako na job. Nani anamlipa? No one. Ni huyo tu boss wake. Ana balance job yake na activism. So clap your hands when these things tuweke logic mbele. Na tutafika. Kwa sababu say wanacheza political game as we are playing an emotional game. So let's try our best. Ayo, back to you. KOT, kama ayo ananisikia.
Wanyama, can I say something before?
Kidogo tu. Marvin, can you hear me?
Yes, nakusikia, but there is a poster marking on. Nasikia kuna one of the bloggers from Taita Taveta has been arrested, and the order came from the governor just because he was questioning on matters accountability, and it was Michael Nyangala. I'm trying to work on the poster to free him. So yeah, I'm back.
Sawa. That tag will repost. Farah, less than a minute, then we go to the next.
Thank you. Personally, mimi ndo niliorganize hiyo mkutano ya NAMLEF. And I knew I needed to organize the meeting after ile mkutano with the online space here about the IEBC, the reconstitution of the IEBC that was hosted by Wanyama. When he told us that the groups that were, the organizations that were forwarding names were the Interreligious Council of Kenya, the LSK, the parliamentary, all these groups, yani. So, and I know the NAMLEF officials personally. So I talked to KOT and Wanyama, and I asked them if it was a viable option. And I even called Wanyama, texted Wanyama jana and told him the meeting will be at 11. If you are available, twende. Akasema haiwezekani. But regardless, what I'm saying is, this is a battle of eternal vigilance. Mimi mkiwahi niona naomba kura, nipigeni mawe. Lakini haimaanishi mnafaa kuniamini pia. Hiyo kutoaminiana is a good thing, but don't discourage people from doing it. Don't tell people don't do it. You're not representing me. No, they are as much part of this country as you are. Let them take a step forward. It's a step in the right direction. Kama hauniamini ni sawa, lakini nikifanya kitu ambayo is right, commend it as well. But I'm doing it because it's the right thing. Either way, Wanyama, KOT, forever keep these spaces alive. We will do whatever is needed, necessary. If kama mtu yote anaweza kafungua mlango yote, don't be shy. It's time to take responsibility. The older generation were always faced with personal problems, where mtu alikuwa na issue ya mtoto wake, na bora amepata shule, amepata chakula, hiyo amedeal na yake. He doesn't care about the general. But we have noticed that the collective affects the individual. So anybody who's doing something for the collective, ndugu yangu, nitumie pay bill.
Thanks, Farah. Majus, I think you were next.
Wewe Wanyama respond kwa Farah bana. Farah unataka pay bill ya M-Pesa ama ya bank?
we will get to Farah one way or another. Usijali. Majus, go ahead.
Anataka kudeposit ngamia. Good evening everyone who is here. Thank you very much KOT, Wanyama, Ayo and many others. First, allow me to start by appreciating Mkenya for the effort that he has made. I'm really behind you. And if you are doing a good job, we have to appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is so wide. This country is too big to an extent that sometimes you cannot consult for you to make a decision. Everyone is busy wherever they are doing different things. So we need to give that room. We are not empty debates. When somebody make a decision, we support that decision. If in case there is a problem, we see on how to rectify where there is a problem. So Mkenya, keep it up and move on. Allow me to get back to civic education mashinani. Is a very good topic. KOT, I just want to inform you, I was in another space where somebody called Tony was before I attended our space in the morning. And a certain lady was really complaining of you and Wanyama holding another space like it was hell to her. And I was asking my question, but why? We should just have several spaces, but we agree on one agenda, then we move on. So it was very bad and niliboeka kidogo, even though Wanyama is saying that we put emotions aside. I agree with that. We are dealing with politicians and we must be very, very careful while dealing with these people. Let us use every bridge that we find on our way to achieve our goal. Hata kama ni Raila ndio tumepata ni kumsalimia tu itafanya to achieve whatever we want. Use after that one dump. That's a politician. That's why it's called politics is a dirty game. I will use KOT, then dump, then they achieve. That's politics. So if we are getting into this game, let us be smart so that we achieve our games. Na ukikuja hapa na roho ya Yesu pia, my friend, I'm telling you, you will not make any step. Utakuwa unazimake backward. Kuwa na hiyo roho ya Yesu ukishafika. Be on the top where now you can have a voice, then you will have a way on how you assist your people. Or unless if you cannot get there, there is no way you will come to help Dr. Majus here to get what he wants or what someone needs. On matters of civic education, I want to ask the host, the KOT Wanyama, if we can add, I don't know whether the campaign, whether it can be campaign, civic education, mashinani, or all over Kenya. We are campaigning the way they do. So can we find a word on how we fix that campaign there? I personally am doing my best. I'm planning as we speak to organize tournaments so that I meet these youths and we talk. If we have something little, whether we need to put it together from different pockets, let's do that. We have tournaments. Wanyama, from where you come from, there is a tournament hosted by Wanyama. Hakuna mtu atajua tumekuchangia. Unafanya tu kitu kidogo, but something that can make sense. Reach out to these women groups. Make those campaign civic education. We go to churches. We make those civic education. Govern yourself with the point that, you know, if you speak before the people, Coyote was talking about them in the morning, that don't say that you have nothing to tell the people. Govern yourself with the points that, you know, if you articulate them to the people, they will understand you with any language. There is a lot of things to talk about. This government is rotten. A lot of things. Number one, I cannot talk of realignment. I call it realignment of the positions, the top position, by electing people like so-called Mbadi and etc. It's a realignment. There is no day we came out of the street to speak about the unity of this country. And our problem has not been solved yet. It was not about the unity. The unity cannot solve accountability. The unity cannot solve the jobless that we are going through. So tell people that our problems has not been solved yet. They are trying to unite the country, and as they unite the country, they unite the top big people and they divide the poor and the suffering citizen of this country. They are not giving us the IDs. We are suffering on matters of education. We are suffering on the issues of health. As we speak, we have something called this monkeypox. They are not even prepared. They don't know whether we are going to die or not. That's the government that you have. Speak all these people, all these things to people, and they will understand. So the strategy I'm talking about is this kind of tournaments. If you can get some little money, is these gatherings. Kindly attend the places like Bunge la Wananchi. Attend the markets. If you can get any gathering, please do. And we have governors. Governors might be against what we are doing. You have talked of someone being arrested because he has talked bad over he is asking for accountability for the county government. Let us be smart. Let us be very, very smart. How we want to approach this governance. How are we going to approach them in a manner that there is no conflict at this early time? Remember, campaign need a lot of financial muscles, which we don't have. That's the only thing that they beat us of. Sisi hatujaiba, hao wameiba katika serikali. And among us, there are people who are working within the government, and we are not happy how things are happening. I have two things. I need to protect my job. At the same time, I need to do what is right for my future, for the future of my children. You have to balance. So kindly be very smart. Let us go out to do this campaign, civic education, in a different way. Tuongezane mawazo hapa. Nikisema tournament, wewe sema kitu ingine, mwingine aseme kanisa, mwingine aseme ataenda kununulia wamama samkuku, ni wenye wanafanya chicken whatever, enda hapo hata na mbili. As you give them, address them. Hata ukienda tu na 1,000, talk to them. As you talk to them, tell them about all this and tell them that we need good leadership from this generation. Don't miss that point. We need good leadership from this generation, and it is our time. With those much I do, drop my mic and give someone a chance. Wanyama, I'm very sorry I interrupted because I wanted Mkenya to get it from us first, then respond. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you very much, Dr. Majuz. Ladies and gentlemen, Civic Education Mashinani, what I want you guys to understand is, and this is just a side note to take home. Since the Reject Finance Bill, uproar happened in the country and we hit the streets, it moved from a Reject Finance Bill to Ruto Must Go until where we are right now. There's something I've learned from the masses. And I want you guys to understand one thing. Nobody will lack something to say. Hakuna mtu ataikosa kitu ya kusema. Hata kama umejitolea, Mkenya, unataka kufanya hii na hii, kuna uchali amekuwa kufanya civic education, akicriticize, akikeep the government accountable, amekuwa kitoka, akienda penye Ruto alisema ametenga, akatawanyisha, akajenga, sijui nini, amekuwa kienda huko. You'll still find human beings criticizing what he's doing. So what I want you guys to understand is, no matter what you decide to do, be it for the benefit of the country or whatever, you will never, and I kid you not, you will never ever lack someone who has something to say, to question you or to try pull you down or to try criticize what you're doing. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, if you find a cause and it's for the betterment of the country and your community, go ahead, push as much as you can, do what you have to do, because you will not lack people who will discourage you. It is 23 minutes past top of the hour, 2200 East African time, 2200 hours in East African time, Sunday. And I want you guys to understand that we're talking about civic education mashinani. As you come up and you raise your hands to speak, please, let's focus on the topic of the day, or rather topic of the night. Let's focus and drive this conversation towards a very reasonable direction, and let's keep each other accountable even as we give our submissions. And if you have to question someone, please come up and question what they have said. If you're not sure of what they have said, please come up here and ask me, hey, Ayo, I've heard you've said ABC. Please clarify this. Just a moment, who's speaking?
It's me, Animesh.
Just a moment, Animesh, I'll come to you. It's not yet your turn. Relax. Do not have itchy fingers, please. Just a moment, I'm coming to you. There's a line, and we'll have to follow that line. Do not have itchy fingers to unmute your mic. Your turn will come. I'll give you your time, and you will give your submission. Thank you very much. I want to start with Mash Steph. You're Jenna Ngumu. Mash Steph, how are you? And Mash Steph, do not just give your submission and go away.
No.
Do not just give your submission and go away. Please just tailor your submission towards this conversation that you're having here. Go ahead. Your 4 minutes begin now.
Yeah, mi nakwanga by the way watu wa kwanza wa kujoin na kuretweet space. So Me, according to me, venye nimesikiza watu wakiongea, I think mi kitu yenye ningependa tu kuongelea ni yes, najua watu wanataka maybe fans, maybe watu wanataka fans, but najua mchanga imetuangusha mara kadhaa. So kitu yenye mi nilikuwa na suggest ni I think maybe tunaweza anza kama ni like tunafaa kujisupport wenyewe. The safest way mi nilikuwa naonelea ni like maybe tukitumia crypto ndio inaweza kuwa safe. Na mambo ya civic education venye tu watu wengi wameongelelea like tunaanzia tu kwa mlango penye huko, hapo ndo tunaanzia. So watu wakikuwa informed penye huko hivyo kila mtu afanye hivyo itakuwa sawa. Sina mambo mengine ya kuongezea, niyo tu.
Thank you very much, Mashef. So, Mashef, I want to ask you a question. From where you sit, from wherever you are, what have you done to ensure that unaeneza your civic education from wherever you are as a Kenyan? You don't have to be in your ushago, it probably wherever you tuambie hata wewe uko wapi. Tuambie tu ni nini umekuwa ukifanya in your environment, in your society to ensure that civic education wase wanajua whatever is happening in the country, wase wanajua what should not be happening and what is happening in the country, and how have you questioned them about their kura? Do they have IDs? Do they have whatever wako na kura ama? Tell us.
Okay, according to me, whatever I do, so like, ukienda maybe ukitembea, ukipatana hata na mtu wa bike, ama hata mtu kwa matatu, ukiwa kwa matatu unaongelesha hata jirani yako, naambia unajua mambo ya hii nchi inaenda ikiharibika kidogo pole pole, na dakika ya mwisho tutaendelea tukisema tu ati tunataka amani, lakini dakika ya mwisho tutashtukia tumeuzwa sisi wote. So kitu mimi hufanya ni like naambia tu mtu, unajua kweli tunaelekea kutaksiwa hadi kupanda, hadi ukienda kulima shamba yako utakuwa na bidi, ukiingia kwa shamba lazima ukuwe na license ya kusema wewe unataka kulima hii shamba. Wanataka kufanya shamba zote zikuwe ni kama hizi shamba zote zikuwe ni kama duka. Juu ndio urun duka lazima ukuwe na license. So wakianza kukuambia ati shamba yenye umenunua tena uiwekee license, hivyo ndio inaenda kukua like utakuwa unataksiwa kulima. So those are some of the things zenye mimi naambia mtu mwenye ajui whatever is going on, because si watu wote wamesoma to a point of wataelewa kizungu yote yenye imeandikwa kwa hizi ma acts na ma bills zenye ziko parliament.
Thank you very much. Okay, sawa, thank you. That question that I was to ask you, I'll ask someone else. Animes, you have your hand up. Thank you so much, Mash Steph. Mkona majina magumu kwa hii Twitter. Hey, Mash Steph, tafani ngoe bana. Thank you so much, Mash Steph. Jesus. Animesh, how are you? Talk to us. You had unmuted your mic earlier.
Hello, everyone. My name is Animesh Das, and I'm from India. And
mtu hapa bana anashindanga tu akitafuta followers bana.
Mtu kuna jokes. India na Kenya tuko related aje. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next. Nimeshamtoa.
Anaingianga spaces akiongea hivi hapa anasema please follow me.
Akona jokes. Akona jokes. Misiko ana mute mic ovyo aje. Hata ana space katisi. Misiko, good evening. Talk to us.
For me, I'm okay. Civic education is working. We are really pushing. What we need, I just had a suggestion. Why can we just plan, get some funds kidogo, get a space, and organize for a meeting where we can call even if it's 100 youth from all over. If we can even support those who come from far and educate them so that they can take this education somewhere. We may just need some budget kidogo. We get at a stage, we get one influencer, and we call these people at a space, maybe a closed space or an open space, and talk to them. That is my thinking. So that at least you can invite people from Bungoma, from Kakamega, Kisumu, Kisii. They come. We even facilitate their transport and some accommodation kidogo. Then we educate them, we empower them and tell them, take this information down there. Because very few people or many people are missing the information. Because the other day I was in the village and guys were like, we are in government. And I was like, guys, maybe you don't understand. We are not in the government. They are in an illegitimate government. There are things that are happening, and we need to align, we need to plan. Do you understand that your taxes are used to do this and this, and therefore you're not supposed to do this because your tax is being used to do this? So that was my suggestion. With the support from the Ayo, Wanyama, KOT, you have a good influence. We can plan. We can create a funding module. We can changa kidogo, 500, 1,000, we attain a certain amount. You just put it open in these spaces, and then maybe we plan maybe after 27th or before 27th, we're having a kamkunji somewhere. And then that was my suggestion for today. And then next, I don't feel it's the good time for us to engage with this politician. We trust them. We trusted them. They have failed us. We again trusted them after the finance bill, and we really saw what these guys did. And that is where we stepped back kidogo because of trying to trust some of these politicians. So this story of we are doing what with them, it's not. The agenda should be one. What is the agenda? We want Ruto to step down because he has really failed us with a lot of lies, with a lot of fake promises. Today I saw him promising 1,000 electric vehicles. Have you seen those cars? And those cars are very expensive. The other day I was in a showroom to ask, and this guy is the car I can buy at 2 million. This guy telling me 6 million. And I'm like, why selling me 6 million this car? And it is a cost you what? And I was fuck yourself out there. We are not it there. Today is lying, is going. So guys, let's push for civic education. Let's do something constructive. We have people, maybe someone haizi ongea kwa space, but tukimuleta pale ashike mic anaweza patia mtu information kwa hiyo kitu. So that is my suggestion for today. If you agree, I'm ready. KOT, Wanyama, you can plan for a funding mode to push, tupateka kitu, tuweke kakamkunji, tusomesha wase. Yeah, thank you so much. Kuna hata kuna watu wana smartphone. So hii X hata naisikianga, tunamuuliza, unaingianga X iko like, X ni nini? So we should do something extra. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Misiko. On that note, yeah, and this is just a food for thought, yeah, and that we need to think about. In my career, I've been taught to think outside the box and think about, yes, you've planned to use 10,000 shillings. What if there are emergencies? What if in the cases of an emergency, what do you do? Or if there's shortage of whatever you're doing, whatever you need, how do you go about it? And with that, what I'm trying to say is, we are seeing. It's Jotham. Please mute your mic. If you unmute your mic again and it's not your time to speak, I'll drop you. Sorry. You have to have space etiquette. Kama uongee una mute mic yako kutapatia watu echo tafadhali. So what I'm trying to say is, tumeona wase wenye wanajaribu kupeana civic education kama akina Michael Nyangala wanakuwa abducted, right? Wanakuwa arrested, and we are seeing what's happening to them. And we need to think towards that direction, because I'll tell you right now, your enemy is the government. Wakija unajaribu kuchanua watu against them, trust me, they'll do whatever they can to stop you. It's either they'll abduct you, or they will arrest you and put charges that don't make sense there, and then waseme ati hakuna nini bail za kutoa, or utasikia tu Ayo alikuwa nafunza jamii yake alafu akamis, alikuwa abducted, mwili zake zikapatikana mahali, because the government is now, we've seen the patterns of the government. We know that they can do anything to stay in power and remain there. So anybody trying to educate people away from whatever they believe in, or rather against them, is your public enemy number one. You're the government's enemy number one. So what are we gonna do to protect these civic educators? Because we need to protect them at the end of the day. We have to have a remedy for them at the end of the day. If Wanyama is going to educate his society, his community, what are we going to do to protect Wanyama or Kenya or whoever is going to come up and say they're going to educate their community? So that's also a question that we need to ask ourselves, even as we come up with plans to put everything in order at the end of the day. So if you're going to give your idea towards civic education, please also think of that question, because it's a food for thought at the end of the day. Kenya, you have your hand up. Please talk to us.
Okay. One thing that has been killing us mostly is we tend to plan a lot, and the challenge with that, we go to the funding and everything. I'll give you an example of one of the civic education that Jonathan kidogo tu utaongea. Like when I requested for when I found the 3 videos that were explaining the debt, that were explaining the projects like railway and all that, the 3 videos. So I was like, what can I do in my position to make sure that all these projects, they are translated at least into the local languages that we have. Let me call the language our mother tongues. So what I did is, do I really need funds to start? I don't think I need funds to start. First of all, I was like, there are these 3 videos, and I requested, can guys volunteer? Can guys, if there anyone who is out there who can volunteer to translate? Then, in my position, I have in my small venture, I have an animation department that makes illustration animations here and there. So I was like, you know what? These are just 3 videos. Kuekelea audio na kuekelea captioning, and if we have to remake the videos, that's something that we can undertake. It can only take us 3 or 4 days, and also render it in time and all that. So we requested Kenyans who can volunteer to offer their translation. You will be surprised how many Kenyans are willing. So if we are going to push civic education, when we started with the funds first, I think that's a point that we are going to fail. So let's initiate this. So it got to a point whereby I've seen people have gone beyond, and I know a lady specifically in the group, out of the 3 translators that I have in the Telegram channel of the people who offered to translate. There is a lady who was alienda mpaka huko kwa Baluya, the local dialect. Kuna Bukusu, kuna Awa, wako wengi. There is a good number. I know when it happens like that, unajua, madam, once the translations itaisha, me from my own pocket, nitadigin, nimpeka kitu, and all the translations, if there is something that will come out of it, I'll also give it to translators. But guys are volunteering to offer this nini. So it's up to us to be in a strategic way, whereby when you're pushing for this civic education, because there was a very good plan by Master Tarus today. And what happened? It was so affected now. Mnalipisha aje watu 500 bob, hii kitu yenye inafanyika for free and all. While it's an idea that was well thought and everything, but the moment we introduce the money and everything, it looks like someone is benefiting from all this, especially during this time. Not to talk on hasira na everything na anyone. So any small move unaweza pata tu kipigwa, while the idea is noble na kila kitu. So when we start framing our ideas, especially on civic education, let's not push to a point whereby we setting up all these. Sometimes it can be a challenge. You get, but I know when you need Kenyans to come through for any project, they are going to come through. Mkisha panga mjue ni hivyo, mnaanzia hii siku na nini, pekeni hata space, ombeni aje Mkeotisongo ama Kenya, we've done this and this, and if you'd like to appreciate the translators, just come to the DM, share, and the people who have done the nini, the people who have volunteered their time and everything, they will get a compensation for that and everything. So those are things. Let's start with the planning, whereby we've already accomplished things that needs to be done, and if there is a support, Kenyans are always willing to support when something is really sensible and it's something that is resonating with most of the Kenyans. So that's something we can also highlight on to make sure that civic education is jakufa, because angalia what kina Masita resident plan, something so beautiful when you look at it, very beautiful, but because tuseme Mkenya daima ama Kiuti Songo akona certain following na make a certain comment that is negative, alafu there are people just going to jump on it while it was something very noble. So what do people end up? They end up deleting the work, what the plan and nini, and they will feel a little bit frustrated because the positivity that they were expecting, Kenyans will see it. Forget about even the money. The positivity is gone, and it kills the morale, because most of it, I think most of us are not even activists. I believe so. Ayo is not an activist. Wanyama, I know you are not an activist. You're someone who umefanya na amnesty, so unaweza kuwa activist kidogo, but most of us are not activists. So when we are doing these things, like there are many things we can get wrong, especially when we bring all these things. But Kenyans are always willing to, when they are always willing to fund and support. So what I would say is, if you're going to do civic education, you shouldn't keep plans, Sana. You start within the environment that you are in. I'm on Twitter and I have videos. I have a small venture that does animation. Then this part that I can't fill, it is the gap of being a translator of all languages. Sini request Kenyans if they are willing. I was surprised. So many Kenyans were willing. So many Kenyans came to the DM. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Like to focus on how much material, how many resources we need. No, just look at the gap and look Kenyans who can support with that. That's all I want to insist on, because the moment you introduce the money thing, it becomes really a challenge. But you become usemeniaje, niko na 63 translators and you are here and you might want to support these 63 translators, just come to the DM and these guys are going to get something, but they volunteered. You get. So let's look at those avenues. But the moment we start looking at which funding model, nini, it will look like, it will look so incentivized and all, and it will kill the morale of most of the people here, because most of the organizers of this ni watu tu wamejitolea. Kiuti Songo wamejitolea, you get. But ukiingia Kiuti Songo mbendaje Kiuti Songo, you guys are doing a civic education here. Okay, so shika sombili iwa support on your work, and hiyo sombili even nini ita support the greater good. That is a better approach than creating a nini whereby mnataka kukimbizana na accountability and all, which is a good thing, but it's civic education, so it needs to be spontaneous. It should be running. So that's something I felt like I wanted to mention, because Sainiko involved with civic education on the translation of the videos na nini. Several translations are complete. Kiembu, Kijaluo and all, they are complete. So hizo ndio vitu zenye nataka tu focus on your niche. Just anzia with the resources that you have and all. And say to run out of resources. I mean, just don't overcommit. Just spend. No, like at my company, the animation guys, they are too. So much time they are spending on working on the new concept, because we're like, while the videos that were available are really good, we can see whether we can make others, and we'll put them and we see whether Kenyans how they compare the two of them. Then we'll decide what to work with. I usually request them just to do 2 hours peke yake, just to do 2 hours peke yake. Then we can do the rest of the company's work. Na hivyo tu ndo tunajipata tukifloat while we are doing the community work. We are also trying to help Papa Kando. That's all I wanted to mention. Let's start with the few resources we have. The funding and all, it can really, it had to take time. And it's the civic education the main point in this. Thank you. Ndugu zangu, kwani najiongelesha?
No, tuko hapa. Can you hear me, Mkenya?
I can hear you, Wanyama.
Yes, I can hear you as well.
Okay. Huyu mabonga sijui nini imetendeka. Anyway, I don't know who was next. Mwaura, bana, tumeka mzee kwa line. Mzee Mwaura, how have you been? Can you hear me?
Nyinyi vijana.
Leo mmetoa watu kwa, or you've been listening to these spaces in anonymous.
Yeah. You know, I'm very, very interested in the work that you young people are doing.
That is good.
Hii kitu inanivutia sana because we might not have the best country, but it's not the best haiko vile tunataka ikae, but we can make it much better. In Kenya, we are highly blessed with young people, well-educated people, resources are there, and everything. We have minerals, name it. We have good agriculture, you name it. But the problem is leadership, and this is what you Gen Z are trying to correct. And I'll be more than happy to see that in my lifetime, nimeona ukombozi umekuja. But now, about this civic education, I've been listening for some time. I don't think that even civic education is all that important the way we are trying to put it. Which civic education did Ruto did in Central Kenya to sweep all the votes? It was just what waliamisha tu Raila ni mbaya, that was all. Yeah, I think if you can just do a very simple thing in civic education, we try to tell people like in my Gatondo constituency, do you know why when you go to Gatondo hospital, there's no dialysis machine? Do you know why you don't get medication? It's because of the kind of MP you put in office. Do you know why the road has not been made? It's because of the government you put in place. On and on. Do you know why university students are not going because of lack of school fees? It's because of the kind of government. Ukiambia mzazi wowote hivyo, because we as human beings, our nature is to have good things, to have things working. Tukielimisha wazazi hivyo that things are not working because of ABCD na wanajionea, I'm sure it won't take long before they get to the line and they know how to do and how to vote come 2027. So mi sioni kama ikuwa ni kazi gumu, but what I would advise you people to do is this. You see, you can achieve very, very little. I repeat, very, very little without leadership. Without leadership, you are going nowhere. No matter how accurate things are, no matter how blessed you are, no matter how skilled you are, without leadership, you can go nowhere. Get that one very clear. So you organize yourself, you have a leadership whereby we know who we can ask, we know who can account for the money they can give for this civic education, and we know who we can tell him, okay, now, can you give us a report of how far you have gone with this civic education? If you have that, people will be willing to give money. People will be more than willing. When we say you are organized, you have leadership, you can have a report, you have said, okay, this region is this person, this and this one to be given money. Now that one people can be able to give money. But let me give you also a caution. Don't think the government is sleeping. Don't think that the ruling elite are sleeping. They are looking at what we are doing and they are also here listening. So all what we will discuss here, they will go out there and put a strategy in place to counter-attack what we are doing. And that's why you are seeing this adoption, people being given cases anyhow, because let's say if they know who is a leader, let's say Wafula is the leader or KOT is the leader, they just go and hijack him. You know, they owe everything. At what I'm working at Casey, the court will gang, you don't talk and everything. And now the whole project will be paralyzed. But let's not think of the negative side. Let's think of how we can move forward. Let's think how we can educate people. The easiest way is to tell people, can you draw parallel between the suffering you are going through and the kind of government you have put in place? Why in a place which you are paying only 20 shillings to travel, now you are paying 50. Why you are going to the hospital, you cannot get medication? Why your child cannot get help from the university? If we do that, a very simple thing, I think what wataelewa na kila mtu tutakuwa na mabadiliko. I can see if Ruto survives until 2027, we are going to have another momentum or like the one we had. Many of you maybe were very young to understand. In 2002, when we said that Kebake Tosha, and NAC government was formed. So let me wish you all the best. When you organize yourself, just call us here, we let you know. Then to give money, we are ready to do that. Asante sana vijana.
Okay, asante sana mzee. Me personally, I didn't know you are bana. Mimi ningekuwa nilishakupatia chance kitambo, because it's so good to give the elders the respect they deserve. And of course, you are wiser than Ayo, Wanyama, than all of us here. And of course, you've shared a lot. In that just less than 3 minutes, you've enlightened us. Kitu umeshare mzee, Wanyama mahali umesimama, you can never see. Mahali mzee anaona kama ameketi. So we thank you so much, and of course we really encourage a lot of wazee wa kitambo wa jadi na jadudi kuja hapa pia kutuhimiza, because you guys ndio tulikuwa tunadhani you are behind. And of course if mzee you can share such words to us, then probably pia huko mashinani ukienda pale si tunasemanga kikao cha busa, when you are there of course you'll be sharing with the other wazees, and of course the message itakuwa ishafika nyumbani mashinani. So personally I'm really happy, and I thank you so much for of course creating your time and being with us here. It's almost 11 p.m. and of course you are here listening to us. Thank you so much mzee. And of course wacha nipatie Nora 6, then Daktari Majuz.
Okay, good evening. I was here before. I just came here ni concern nilisikia mtu akisema, so I wanted to come back and clarify on that. Nilifeel ni kama naona ni kama what you are doing is not really what is happening. Why we are insisting on civic education. It was, I think, Misiko, he was talking about what's the plan. We already have a plan. We are talking about civic education. There is no way we will go back to the streets if we don't have a well-thought plan and strategy. We first have to get the ground. We first have to develop the language that we want every Kenyan to speak. Then after we develop the language, that is when we now think of, are we going back to the streets? What are we doing next? Because of course we have to do something after educating people, because they will want to know. Now we know, yes, we know the government is rotten. We know that we will not have seed authority and all that. Now they will want to know what's next. And that one is not the question right now. Now it's about, we tell them first, ni hii kitu inakuaffect aje, inakufikia aje we kama Mkenya, we kama mkulima, we kama mwalimu, mwanafunzi, and all that kind of stuff. So let's not digress. Let's not try to start confusing ourselves up and now what's next, and or what we are doing is already running. No. Civic education, we are still very far from getting to the bottom of this. We are still very far kabisa. Mimi personally nimejaribu kuongelesha watu wako rigid huko nje, watu wako ready kuconform kwa operation. Na hivyo ndo nilisema before. People are like, to give up tuache wanini wamalize. No, we cannot do that. We have to educate these people, and that should be taken very seriously. And then I wanted to pose a question to Kenya. I joined that team ya could translate videos. I'm yet to do a task, but then I would like to know, these videos, are they being shared? Where are they being shared? Because we need to see them they need to be everywhere. They need to be aired. Because me, I follow you, but I don't see them on your TL unless me ndio zinifikiangi. Those are things we should be seeing. Yes, kazi inafanywa, but we are not seeing them. Personally, I have not seen any yenye imetranslatiwa ama labda mimi ndo sina TL yangu iwaka. So yeah, those are things that we need to as much as tunasema we are doing. Let's see, ukienda ufanye mahali civic education, post those videos. Kuna mtu mwenye anangojea aone kama wewe umefanya. Anyone here, Wanyama, kuna mtu anangojea aone kama umeweka nini kwa TL yako ndio repost ama pia yeye act on it. There are people out here who are waiting to see mentor wake anafanya nini. You guys are mentors out here, so you need to put it out there clearly that this is what we are talking about and this is what we are doing, actually doing. That is very important. I think that is what I wanted to say. And then hiyo mambo ya Kamukunji, tafadhali, let's put that on a pause right now. We don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to put ourselves kwa risk. Right now, it's not time for us getting more unnecessary arrests and abductions. It's time for us to run the ground properly as much as we can do. Not converge, not start having barazas and kamukunjis. That one we cannot afford. We can only afford to run the ground by all means. Wherever you are, however you are, when you are there, do it without thinking who is seeing or who is not seeing. But you have to be aware of your environment. You have to watch your back. If you have no one to watch your back, you have to watch it by yourself.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you so much, Nora. And of course, I wanted to cut you short because we are remaining with 6 minutes before we end this space. Remember, guys, Sauti ya Mwananchi is a daily space where we host this space daily from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. here on my timeline, and of course from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wanyama's timeline. So we cannot exhaust everything. We still have tomorrow. So I just want us to wind up with the current speakers on the panel, and then we call it a night. So I want to give 2 minutes kindly.
So mi nataka kusema hivi. I think niliingia mtu akisema tuchange pesa bwana. Me, I'll tell you, people do this thing for free. Tufanye tu kitu for free, kitu ni kujitolea. I like studying whatever people do, and people want to be incentivized for them to do something, and that shouldn't be driving us on what we stand for. As Hadun Kenya said something, and I'd like to support him. Before tufike hiyo point ya watu kutumado, inafika point mtu anafikiria sasa sahi nimetumia wanyama pesa yangu, mtu wako majua wako restless, then it also gives us pressure to do something that maybe we can strategize very well and have it. So guys, me, I'll like to tell everyone, if you're doing civic education, kindly do it voluntarily, and make sure that you are injecting the right places. Today, I happened to take a motorbike from work to town because I was picking something there. And the boda guy who was carrying me, his name was, he's from Kikuyu land, from Central. And he told me, hii serikali imetesa watu sana na hii Nairobi hakuna pesa. Na mimi na imagine kama mimi naendesha boda yangu Nairobi, na per day hata siwezi fikisha 1,000 shillings. Na ule mtu wa ushago mwenye huko ni pesa ni ngumu kupata anapitia